Oh, man. Good morning. It is Glenn Clark Radio. I apologize. I'm going to be a little slow on Would You Rather Wednesday today because we had to do like 5 different things before the show started today. And look, I'm sorry. You know what? No. I'm trying to deflect. It's on me. Tell you what, I'm taking accountability. It's on me. I should have been here at 8 this morning in order to take care of that for you. I chose not to do that. And you know what? I'll do it again. I'll do it again. Watch me. I'll do it again. But I should have done better. It'll get up at some point during the first hour of the show. I promise that on both Facebook and Twitter. Hi, Glenn Clark Radio. I'm Glenn. He's Griffin. Thank you to those of you who came out last night for the Tyus Bowser Show down at Mother's Peninsula Grill in Arnold. We had a lot of fun with Tyus and Marcus Williams. Marcus Williams is like Nick Cannon. He's hilarious, Dad. Nick Cannon's hilarious. Marcus Williams is a very funny man. We had a good time. Thank you to those of you who came out. If you missed it, I don't know what you're waiting for. I keep feeling like everybody thinks there's a catch, or this really isn't for me. Like my man Tim in Bel Air came down to the one, Mark Andrews. We're trying to get back to Bel Air. We were hoping to do that for the final show of the season. Tim, I'm still working on it. That's all I can tell you. I hope it comes through, but we have one more show that we haven't placed yet to wrap up the year, and it might not end up being in Bel Air the way that we were hoping it would be, so we're still working on something else. Next show, if you missed this one, shame on you, you silly people. But the next one will be December 13th. We will be back at the Hamilton Sports Bar and Grill on Harford Road. Come join us for the next Tyus Bowser Show. It's a partnership of Pressbox and Grade 8's memorabilia. It's all brought to you by Maryland. Hello. I don't know what that was. My Maryland Vascular Specialist, the all-new Ginsu Kamado Grill. Find out more at PressBoxOnline.com/Bowser. We will get you segment number 1 of the Tyus Bowser Show coming up a little bit later on in the program with Marcus Williams. If you miss any of it, we'll get it up in the archives a little bit later on, and it will also air Friday night at 7 o'clock, special time this week, Friday night at 7 o'clock on 105.7 The Fan ahead of the Maryland-Illinois game. Speaking of Maryland, they cruised to a win over Louisville. Over bettors, my man John in Little Rock, not thrilled. Needed one more point.
Wow.
One more point in the last minute and 15 seconds.
Spread bettors weren't worried. Anyone that listens to Simply the Bets.
No problem whatsoever. 12.5 was covered easily by Maryland.
And they even boosted it on FanDuel to just 11.
Oh, just because it's still a new state and they're trying to get people to get active. Wish I would have noticed that. Kind of bitter that I didn't make that play. I was still in my my time off period. I was still after when you have a rough weekend.
Your break.
I did a little chasing on Sunday after the Ravens debacle, and that's when again, I don't have a problem. I guess this might be an appropriate time for me to remind everybody. Apology. This is getting a little awkward. Gambling can be fun, but you should set a limit and stay within it. And remember, if you or a loved one has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org for free confidential services. I'm not trying to make a joke about that. I think it's a very serious thing. I don't have a problem. It's not an addiction for me, but I am a traditional chaser. And when I do something like that, I give myself a timeout. I say, no, you fool, you did something stupid. You need to chill for a couple of days before we get back to it. Shake it off. Understand that this is supposed to be for fun and for entertainment, and don't make poor decisions. So that's the way that I handled it, so I didn't get in on that. But Maryland covers easily. They move to 6-0. Obviously, it gets far more serious on Friday night when they take on Illinois, who I believe blasted Syracuse by about 1 billion points last night. So that one, a lot of controversy within the Maryland fan base because there's still a lot of upper deck tickets available for Friday night's game, and then people just stink. It would be a great night to go down. It's not a 7 o'clock tip-off. It's not friendly for kids, obviously, being at 9 o'clock, unfortunately. But for those of you that hate sitting through the traffic down to College Park, you can wait, go down a little bit later. 9 o'clock tip-off for Maryland and Illinois on Friday night, and should be an electric atmosphere and a great game for the Terps. The big story yesterday, I guess I should plug the rest of the show. Coming up this hour, The legend, Gus Johnson, is going to join us from Fox. He'll be on the call for the Big Ten championship game. He'll join us courtesy of Hampton by Hilton. Looking forward to catching up with the great Gus Johnson. Always enjoy our conversations. Also coming up this hour, this is going to be controversial. I get it. I know a lot of you won't like it, but I said this on Twitter last night. Bernard Pollard was part of the 2012 Ravens Super Bowl XLVII championship team. I get it. Ravens fans don't love Bernard Pollard any longer. I understand. Bernard Pollard has been a controversial figure in this market because of some of the things he said about Lamar Jackson, about the team in the years that have followed. He was still part of the team. And we are inviting all of the members of the team to come on and celebrate the 10th anniversary. And Bernard Pollard wanted to come on and celebrate the 10th anniversary. So we'll talk to him about it. We will probably bring up his relationship with the Ravens. Obviously, he was one of the very few players that wasn't there for the reunion, so it will come up. We're not going to be railroaded. We're not going to, spread misinformation. Of course, this, unlike things that actually matter in the country, doesn't actually matter. Who cares? But we said we were going to invite all the players on. We invited Bernard Pollard on. He said yes. So that's the way it's going to go. We're going to let Bernard Pollard come on today. Also, Drew Forrester will stop by a little bit later on, and we will play Would You Rather Wednesday. So all of that coming up on the program today. Yesterday was a big day. I legitimately felt like I needed a cigarette when that thing was over. Man, that was... I tried explaining this. I did on Thanksgiving. I did the morning show over on 105.7 The Fan, and I work with a young man named Rami. He's a great kid. Really like Rami. He's a really good dude. He's an aspiring broadcaster. He's a go-getter. I really like Rami. And Rami, I wanted to do a segment. We had Kyle Beckerman on the show that day, of course, a Crofton native and part of the 2014 World Cup team for the United States. And coming out of that interview, I wanted to do a segment about the World Cup and how your interest was maybe impacted by the Qatar thing and, the World Cup being played in the fall. And he kind of admitted to me, like, look, dude, I'm just not a soccer person. I said, I understand. There's a lot of people that aren't soccer people. There's a lot of people that aren't like, I'm not a golf person. I don't care how good it is. You're never going to get me to get into golf. It just doesn't do it for me. I pay attention when I have to pay attention. And when Tiger Woods mattered, I really did pay attention because it transcended golf, of course. It was I wasn't sitting down to watch a golf tournament on a Sunday. I was sitting down to watch a virtuoso. I was sitting down to watch, an artist. But without Tiger Woods, there are lots of good golfers, but none of them are that. And none of them demand that I watch. And the sport is just not my thing. NASCAR is not my thing. I've tried 1 billion times. Like 10 different stages in my life, I've attempted to give NASCAR another chance. And dude, you got to go watch it live. It was worse. Everybody got drunk and passed out. I literally looked around in my section, and 80% of the people were asleep on the 4th lap. I've tried. It's just not my thing.
That's the beauty of it.
Is it? Yeah, that's what makes it so good? Is it?
You wake up and then it's like all of a sudden something's happening.
Maybe that's what I was missing. I tried. It's not my thing. And I get it. For some people, certain sports are just not their thing. It's fine. I don't shame you. What I tried to say was, to me, there are a few sports that provide the greatest theater, the greatest drama that sport has to offer. The first two are individual sports. Boxing and tennis provide the greatest theater and drama that sport has to offer. There's nothing comparable. Mano a mano, duking it out. Boxing, of course, being a true fight. Meanwhile, tennis being chess. It's impeccable. You can't get greater drama, greater... What's the verb? Tensity? Tenseness? What is the noun version of tense? Tensity?
Intent? You're not...
No, not the noun. That would not be a noun, yeah. Intense.
No, intensity.
Intensity, I guess, would be the verb. But is that the noun version of tense? Is intensity? Like, that's a great... I assume it must be. It must be. But I've never thought about that. Because intense isn't tense. No, that's not true. What's the noun version of tense? Tense is defining how gripping, how captivating it is. Intense is more exciting. It's more electric.
Tension.
Right? Tension. Yes, I'm an idiot.
Yeah,
I am a huge stupid.
So am I. I had to look it up.
Oh my God! Why does anyone listen to this show? The hell is happening? Tension. Oh my God. Well, we tried. Gave it our best. See you guys. Good luck. Peace out. Tension. Easiest word ever. God. Wrong. There's something. Anyway, the moral of the story being those sports provide it more than any other, but no team sport provides that theater the way that soccer does. Soccer for theater, for the pure tension of the moment. Everyone knows is the word, and you'd have to be the biggest dummy ever to not know that. The tension of the moment. Nothing provides it like soccer. And if you're not, like, for example, our friend Rita, the NFL chick, Sarita Hubbard, co-host of the Tyus Bowser Show, we were talking about it yesterday. She is admittedly not like a lifelong soccer person, but she could feel it yesterday because there's nothing like that. Like, it's unbelievable. Which isn't to say that there aren't other sports that provide dramatic moments and things like that, but my God, you'd sweat through shirts just watching it. Every time the ball is touched, you're freaking the F out. Kudos to Team USA for figuring out a way to hold on. It was a really solid performance. I don't know that it was a dominant performance, and there's a few questions that go into that. If they had played Iran in the first match without the pressure of the moment, would they have won more comfortably? I don't know. I think that this Iran team certainly proved that they were better than 6-2 to England, although that did happen. Like, that's the tough part about looking at this. You can celebrate a 1-0 American victory, but England beat them 6-2. Like, that was a thing that occurred. Obviously, the USA was playing a certain way because at some point it was about protecting and just doing everything in their power to make sure they got through. And they tried a couple times late in the match to blow that, but thankfully they did not. Who knows? Maybe if Christian Pulisic can come back out to start the second half, could they have, built to another goal? They had some chances at other goals, obviously. Of course, called offside late in the first half, and by letter of the law, yes, that was offside. The debate that we have about that, like, if you don't understand soccer, you think it was a bad call. It's not a bad call. It's a bad rule. Like, this is the offsides conversation that I have all the time. The point of offsides was to avoid cherry picking. It was to force people to play soccer. It wasn't to heat map and try to figure out if a pinky toe was a little bit. Those players are running together. No one has an advantage. They're running together. It just so happens to be that in running together, one of them was a bit in front of the other. But they're running together. That's not what offsides was supposed to be when the rule was invented years upon years upon years ago. But technology got good. The letter of the law is there's a line. If you're behind that line, you're offsides. And by letter of the law, that was a good call. You can't get around that. That was correct by letter of the law. But letter of the law is stupid. And soccer has never attempted to do anything about this. For whatever reason, the sport has just been very happy to sit back. And I would say the same thing if Iran had a goal taken off because of it. I have said this for years. The offsides rule in soccer is wrong. Now, Drew, who's going to join us a little bit later on, of course, whose background is in soccer. It's one of the few things he's actually a bit of an expert about. Drew will come in and say they should just get rid of offsides altogether. I don't agree with that. I do think goals should be difficult in soccer. I don't think you should strategize having players that just sort of stand somewhere to try to cherry-pick goals. I don't think offside should be done away with entirely. But understanding what offsides is and what the concept is something that I have talked about for years I don't know, a decade at this point. Probably longer than that. If you're within arm's length of someone, I don't think you should be offsides. I've never thought that, like, in the attacking third, there should be offsides. Like, once you're there, you're there. Like, teams thinking it's cute to, like, hop backwards. Let me see if I can trap you. Or somehow a shot leading to a pass because the shot was off the mark. And that's insane. That's not the concept of the rule. We've just never been willing to further discuss the rule. We've decided, hey, the rules, it's a scene from South Park where they're like, oh, the rules are all the way up there. We don't have a ladder. How are we supposed to get up there and change the rules? It was a great episode. The college sports episode was with the Crack Baby Basketball Association. Boy, what a great episode of South Park that was. They just don't ever want to consider it, but that's a dumb rule. Obviously, didn't end up mattering. U.S. got the goal they needed. They held on. They win 1-0. England wins as well, so the U.S. has to face the Netherlands on Saturday. Not ideal. Also not ideal for this country. I thought the deal was that they were trying to purposely make sure that all of the U.S. games were being played at 2 in the afternoon. A little bit weird. Great news for me because I got to work on Saturday. Couldn't be better news that this is a 10 a.m. match. I am thrilled. In fact, I'm up for trying to get together with people and hang out and watch the match and, do the whole thing. As I got a 1 o'clock basketball game, and if I have to be there at 12:54, I'll be there at 12:54, and I will let them know ahead of time there's a soccer match going on. So great news for your boy that they're playing it at 10 a.m. Not great for the country that the match is going to be at 10 a.m. I get it. It's a Saturday, so if you're out on the West Coast, plan around it accordingly, I guess is the point that we're trying to make. But the USA and the Netherlands will play in the round of 16 on Saturday morning. The U.S., of course, has only ever won once or advanced even in the round of 16. A reminder, they can win the World Cup without winning another match. That's the beauty of this. You don't have to win another match in order to win the World Cup. You just have to advance. You take everything. You don't have to score another goal, frankly, and you can win the World Cup. Nobody ever talks about that, but that's the way it works. You don't have to score a goal. Play 4 scoreless draws and win all of them in PKs or advance through PKs. And you get to hoist the trophy at the end of this thing. That's the way it goes. Hopefully, the U.S. can shock the world on Saturday. It would be an amazing statement. I do think you can call this a successful trip back to the World Cup. We talked about this with Desmond Armstrong yesterday. Just by getting through, that was not guaranteed. We thought that they got a pretty reasonable group to have a chance to get through, and they did. I think you can call it a success. I mean, if they go get pounded by the Netherlands on Saturday, if they lose like 3-0, then it might be a little bit tougher. And there's a chance that happens, obviously. But I think at this point you can call it a successful trip to the World Cup. I think I'm okay with that, and everything else is icing on the cake. Boy, it would be great. It would be really, really great if they could follow it up with a win or at least advancing. My God, what that would do for this country to, some 20 years later, finally show another step, finally show something to get people to believe that there's an opportunity when we get the 2026 World Cup, which is, of course, back in the United States. So what a day. What a match. Incredible drama. This is why you're a sports fan, is for days like that. So, few of you probably had a little action on that. Sports betting is available now in the state of Maryland, mobile and on your computer. And we've got some great offers for you. Right now, go to PressBoxOnline.com/offers, and you will find a number of incredible offers for sign-up bonuses, for free bets, through all of the various betting houses that are working in the state of Maryland. Go right now, PressBoxOnline.com/offers. Get signed up. Take advantage of these excellent offers now. They're not going to last forever. All of these groups, DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM, PointsBet, Barstool, all of these companies are trying to get you guys to decide to bet with them, and that's your choice. But right now they're giving you great offers. And, of course, the win-win is that it helps PressBox out a little bit as well. So PressBoxOnline.com/offers, and check out everything that's available for getting signed up to bet in the state of Maryland. Throughout the season, we have been celebrating the 10th anniversary of the Baltimore Ravens' run to the Super Bowl XLVII title with various members of that team. This man, much like Vontae Leach, who joined us a few weeks ago, of course, came over from Houston. Obviously, he was a perfect fit stylistically with what the Ravens do. Delivered one of the more memorable and punishing hits of the season in the AFC Championship game. He is Bernard Pollard, and he is with us now here on GCR. Bernard, it's Glenn and Griffin. It's great to chat with you, man. Thank you for taking a couple of minutes for us this morning.
What's up, man? How y'all doing?
Everything is good, dude. When you think back, take me 10 years back, right? Take me back to the beginning of that season. Did you know, we talked about this with a bunch of guys. Did you just have this feeling of dude, there's something here, little unfinished business. We're winning the Super Bowl this year. That's going to happen.
Well, I think, when I look back and as, many of my other teammates would attest to it, obviously losing in the AFC Championship to New England the year before, when we got a locker room, everybody let, what they had to say, the frustrations and everything else, we let that out. And, I think we all had an agreement let's do whatever we need to do because we're coming back here next year and we're going to go to the Super Bowl. So, I think, that was our mindset going into the next year. And then obviously throughout the season, everybody's mindset is always everybody's plan is to win every game, right? But it took us a couple games, and we had to have a come to Jesus meeting, a players only meeting where, we had to figure out, look, I think it was after the Dallas Cowboys game, and, they ran all day. They still running on us. They had 2 or 3 running backs that was just running all day. So it was just one of those things where we had to understand and realize this, we can't do this. We can't win this way. We can't win the Super Bowl the way that we talked about it. And it was after that game, I think we all looked at each other and was just yo, we win the Super Bowl this year, and we accomplished it.
I mean, look, and it was hairy, right? It was not looking good there late in the season, but everything came back together. Of course, the memory that everybody brings up, and now you'd probably be not only kicked out of the NFL, but arrested on the spot and thrown in jail for 5 years. But the hit on Stephen Ridley, of course, in the AFC Championship game, you delivered a lot of punishing hits in your career, and you had a lot of moments. Where does that one in particular rank on Bernard Pollard's own greatest hits?
I mean, to be honest with you, I don't think like that. For me, I love hitting. That was my game. Everybody.
Oh, we remember. Everybody
has got to find their right. So it's just one of those things where for me, would I take a hit or interception? I want the hit. Ed Reed was Ed Reed because he was a playmaker. He was able to find the ball and go do special things with the ball. I block punts, field goals, and I hit people. And I love that, and I embrace that role. And so, it's, when you look at hits throughout my career, I've had a lot of hits where I've put a lot of people out. But, I think the part where I was just truly blessed, with just being able to have the ability to be the hammer and not the nail. And, so that was just a fun part. And I just thank God that I was able to do that for as long as I did, because a lot of people, couldn't sustain that type of play for as long as I did.
Well, I think the obvious question is, how the league had already changed a little bit by that point. The league has drastically changed by this point. You're almost not allowed to play defense any longer. Would Bernard Pollard have been able to succeed in the 2022 version of the NFL?
So it's crazy. So I don't watch. At the beginning of the year, I was trying to watch football. First first 6 or 7 weeks of the season, I tried to watch it. And, I was doing some stuff with a podcast, things of that nature. I love football. I do. I love the game of football. I thank God for the game of football because the game of football has blessed me, my family. But, when I look back, like, I was just like, it's hard to watch now simply because, as you guys have talked about, the rules have changed. It's catered towards the offense. It's hard to play defense. And I'm a believer where I say, if you're going to be a part of the rules committee and changing the rules, and you want to be in that, with that panel, I truly believe that those guys need to put on pads and they need to go through those motions full speed or get guys full speed and see, okay, is this realistic? Because, I understand the malicious helmet-to-helmet hits where you try to take somebody out. I get that. When it comes to all this other stuff, we're watching and we're like, we just watch it on TV and we see that this is not egregious of any nature or anything like that. It's hard for me to watch. And the committee has just made it bad. The NFL has got to do a better job. They've made it bad, so it's hard.
I completely understand. Look, I am in favor of trying to keep players safe. I don't want dudes that are dealing with CTE for the rest of their lives, but, as a lot of guys bring up, you can't change that it's going to be a violent sport. Like, you guys, you signed up to play the sport that you signed up to play. You knew what it was, and there's only so many lengths you can go to try to make it something that it isn't.
That's so true, and I agree 100% with you. I think to answer your question, could I play in 2022? When you look back, and I watch, my son watches football. He has football on every Sunday and Monday and Thursday. So if I'm walking past TV, I'm seeing, some refs, some crews, they're letting guys get away with hitting now. So the hits are happening. So I think I could play. I think the big question mark is if I got a receiver. If I got a receiver or tight end coming across the middle, I'm gonna clean that sucker up, and I'm gonna let the chips fall where they may. If they throw the flag, they do. If they don't, they don't. But yeah. It's. I mean, a lot of these players, they soft. There's a lot of prima donnas, and it's crazy.
Bernard Pollard is with us here on GCR. Bernard, statistically, that defense was kind of a middle-of-the-road defense during the course of the year, right? Mm-hmm. And you guys dealt with some injuries, but you came through with some unbelievable performances in the postseason. When you think about, going up against Peyton Manning and obviously that, being the game of Corey Graham's life, right? And the AFC Championship game and, the way that you guys handled Tom Brady that day. What was it that clicked? To not say you were a bad defense, I want to make that abundantly clear, but that you guys stepped up and played your best against, Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, only arguably the two greatest quarterbacks of all time.
Well, for us, we were, as you said, we were a really, really good defense. We've had letdowns in crazy parts of the game, crazy times of the game, but it doesn't take away from what we were able to accomplish. And when you look at the postseason, I just think, when we look at as far as the way that we came together and how we gelled offensively, Joe Flacco and the offense was playing lights out. I mean, it was remarkable. So when you have an offense playing like that, all our job is to do is just, hey, don't mess this thing up. Get the ball back to them as many times as we can. And Graham was phenomenal. Like, I mean, he was outstanding. And when you can play like that, and for us, we had fun every time we took the field. I think one of the most memorable games for me was being in Denver. It was so cold. I mean, I remember we had freaking chicken broth on the sideline. We were trying to guzzle that as much as we could to stay warm. But, that was just that game right there, it just set the tempo. And we already knew coming out of that, we was like New England in trouble. We said it, we was like New England is in trouble simply because of what we put together, what we put on tape that day was so fun. And it was so exciting. And, man, it was just, I mean, the rest is history. And, man, just to be a part of that is just truly a blessing.
Yeah, you guys were guzzling chicken broth. Marshall Yanda was trying to get more ice on himself so that no one could hold him during the course of the game. He was literally pouring more water so that more of him would be covered in ice so that people's hands would slip off because that man was a psychopath. That man.
Yeah, that and Vaseline.
Yeah, anything he could. anything. I don't want you guys holding me. He was wild, dude. Bernard, obviously, I can't help it. A lot of guys we talk to, they talk about how different the experience for them was in Baltimore and how meaningful it was in comparison to other places they had been in their career. Your relationship with the Ravens and the fan base has been, a bit different, obviously, over the course of the last decade. You weren't here for the reunion. Can you kind of take me through that and where you're at with the Ravens, with the fans, with everybody involved, and how you reflect on your time as a Raven, kind of given the way the last decade has gone?
Well, as I tell a lot of people, and I mean, people ask me all the time, the best organization I've played for, and it hands down Baltimore Ravens, the best organization I've ever played for. If I could have played in Baltimore my entire career, I would have. As far as with the fans and when it comes down to what they feel like a player should and shouldn't say, I'm a person where you're not going to muzzle me. I am no longer on the Baltimore Ravens payroll. When I talk football, I talk football. And I don't care if I played for you, if I didn't play for you. The way that I talk, as far as when I talk about football, I talk about the Tennessee Titans that way. I talk about the Houston Texans that way. I talk about the Kansas City Chiefs that way. And it's no, I'm not doing this to pick or to be any kind of way towards any person or any player or anybody. When I give out my opinions, first and foremost, they're my opinions. And I played this game. I was in that locker room. I was in that building. I understand how the position is supposed to be played and how things look. And when I when I put my opinion out there, if you don't like it, cool. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to argue with anybody about, my opinion. My opinion is my opinion. And, and I like, and I'm just going to say it, I like Lamar Jackson. I think he's phenomenal. But my critiques for him as a quarterback, I truly believe he still needs to get better. If the fan base feel like Lamar is going to bring the Super Bowl home, that's cool. That's wishful thinking. But his style of play, as I've said when they first drafted him, his style of play has got to change. If it changes, I truly believe he can bring a Super Bowl championship to Baltimore. If his style of play does not change, it's going to be very hard for them to win that way. A lot of people blame Greg Roman.
Yep.
Like I tell people all the time, do not put the blame on Greg Roman. He doesn't own a lot of that blame. Lamar Jackson owns some of that blame. John Harbaugh owns some of that blame. So people get upset with the things that I say, and I'm fine with that. When it comes down to my relationship with the coaches, me and the coaches, I got along fine with every single coach. John Harbaugh, me and him, we had our differences. And, I'm one where, I'm not going to be whatever towards any coach, but when it comes down to it, whatever happened with us in Baltimore, it was one of those things where, so many people don't understand what took place. And when you don't understand what took place and you start to take sides, I'm one where I'm transparent. I'm open and transparent, and I'm honest. John Harbaugh and I got into it one day before we had our meeting with the whole team. Terrell Suggs walked in, Anquan Boldin walked in to separate us. So my biggest thing with him is how he started this whole thing with myself and another teammate. And he didn't own it, and he didn't want to own it. And I'm okay with that. If you don't want to own it, that's fine. But when I say what I have to say and you don't like what I have to say, that's fine. But for us as a team, we had to get this train going in the right direction, and we did. A lot of people talk about the mutiny and all this other stuff. Yeah. There was no mutiny. I mean, some people may call it that, but I said what I said in that team meeting, and everybody got back on board. And everybody got, we accomplished something that year. And with Harbaugh, when you win a Super Bowl, you unlock certain things, and he unlocked responsibilities to get rid of players that he didn't want there, and that's exactly what he did. And he's, that's what he wanted, and he got his guys in, and it hasn't been truly a winning season like that where we should have, and they should have, won more Super Bowls. To be honest with you, I'm just being honest with you. So it's crazy, but it's fun.
It's boy, there's so much in there, Bernard. There's so much.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, right. There's so much in there. It's interesting to me that you were able to make it work that season to go win a Super Bowl, right? Despite everything that was going on there. Like that's kind of remarkable, frankly, that you guys were able to make it work despite that to go on to win a Super Bowl. Let me try going this way. Is there a world in which you could you didn't make the decision to join them for the 10th? Could you see yourself? You're still a Super Bowl champion in Baltimore, right? Like that matters. There's only so many dudes that accomplish that here. Could you see yourself coming back here in the future, in the 15, 20, something like that, and being with those guys and putting a purple shirt on and celebrating in the future?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. And let me clear that up right now. And I've talked to my teammates. We all laughed, and everybody kept me. They kept me informed with everything that was going on while they were there. My grandmother was sick, and so I was back in Indiana.
Okay.
So they just released her from. She was in the hospital for over 30 days, and then she went to a nursing home. So her kidneys are completely failed, and so I was back home with my family, and so we were planning for the worst, but thank God that everything has gotten
so
better.
Happy to hear that.
That's why I was not at the reunion.
Very happy to hear that. So if not for that, you intended to come out for that event.
So I would have come. Yes, I would have come. And there's some things that I think when it's all said and done, John and I need to have a conversation. We have not had a conversation since I left, and the way that I left, what him and Ozzie did was completely bad ball. And so that left a bad taste in my mouth. And nobody knows any of this. And so, like I said, I'm open and transparent. What they did was it was horrible. And they know what they did. Ozzie and John Harbaugh know what they did. And you don't do that to a player. You don't do that to his career. And so we need to have a conversation, and they need to own what they did. And like I said, I wasn't an angel. But at the same time, I didn't do anything malicious to anybody, and the things that they did was malicious and backstabbing, and it was awful. And so, we need to have a conversation.
And did you feel like they did that to other guys too?
They did. I can speak for myself. I was my own agent. I structured my own contracts, the way that I negotiated with teams. I know what they did because, Ozzie and John took part of it, and it sucks because I respect them. I'm thankful for the opportunity that Ozzie gave me to come there. John did not want me there. He did everything he could to try not to play me, but it's just one of those things where he had to, it wasn't even up to him. I came in and took the spot. But it's just one of those things for I will have respect, and I'm thankful for the things that was done. What Mr. Bouchatti, I really respect that man so much for the conversations that we had, how he led me. So no, it's what John and what Ozzie did, we need to have a conversation, a man-to-man talk conversation of the bullcrap that they pulled when I left.
I'm gonna root for that to happen because I would like for that day to come, man. I would like for that to happen. Obviously, that would be a really good thing. In the meantime, Bernard, what else are you up to? What could we plug for you? What could we talk up? What's going on in your life these days?
Man, we got 4 kids, so we Uber drivers that don't get paid.
Yeah.
So it's so keeping up with them, man. It's truly a blessing to be able to see your family grow. Keeping up with sports and, their academics, it's just, like I said, life is a blessing. And to be able to see my oldest son, who's 14, he'll be 15 in a month and a half. But, to see him playing football and excelling at football, to see my oldest daughter playing volleyball, my middle daughter playing softball and basketball, my youngest son playing basketball, running track, and playing baseball. It's just, for me and my wife, it's remarkable. And we're just truly blessed, man. And so just doing that, I'm doing a lot of stuff with NASCAR. I found a new love, a new passion to be able to be a part of that with the Allied team covering the 48 car with Alex Bowman. So that's a lot of fun to be able to continue to stay around football training, DBs. Here in Nashville, man, it's a blast. And man, I can't complain. I really can't. I can't complain. I'm blessed and I'm thankful. So yeah.
I mean, I see you are like Mr. NASCAR nowadays. Like every time we see you, it's doing something with that. It's crazy, man. Bernard, I hope that one day that conversation can happen, and I hope that the next time there is a celebration that you can be here to be a part of it, because we know how significant you were to that team and what they were able to accomplish, and those are significant memories. And truth be told, I hope that one day Lamar Jackson's hoisting a Super Bowl and giving you the middle finger. And I don't mean that to be mean to you. I just, like that's what we want to see around here. I'm sure you understand that.
No, I definitely understand it,
Yeah,
and
right.
I get it, and I want them to win Super Bowls. I want him to be successful. He should have been paid. They owe him. They owe that man money, as well as Tucker. But nevertheless, I hope they get a championship. But hey, I hope he proves me wrong.
Hey, man. Bernard Pollard, appreciate you taking the time for us this morning, dude. Best to you. Glad to hear that your grandmother's doing all right, man. Appreciate you hopping on with us for a few minutes. We'll talk again soon, all right?
All right. Thank you, guys. Y'all take it easy.
Absolutely. Bernard Pollard, part of course, the Super Bowl 47 team as we continue our celebration of that team. Obviously, there is a lot in there. I know he's talked about some of it before. We've talked about some of it with him before. And, however you feel about Bernard Pollard, I get it. There's clearly resentment there. That is obvious. And I appreciate the fact that he's not hiding from it. He's like, look, man, I still got problems. I got to sit down with John Harbaugh, Ozzie Newsome. I was not treated fairly. They probably, if we were talking with John Harbaugh and Ozzie Newsome, they'd probably present a different side of the story. That's the way that these things go. It's a bummer because Bernard Pollard was a hell of a football player and a really important part of the team that won a Super Bowl. And I hate the fact that someone who was such an important part of a championship team in this city, can't experience and be celebrated and be feted and all of those things because of what the relationship is between them, the fan base, the city, whatever it is that you want to say. It's a bummer. It's a real bummer. And Bernard Pollard has no obligation to just say, I love the Ravens and be nice all the time. I have definitely thought his criticism was off the mark in terms of some of the things he said about Lamar Jackson over the years, and they've kind of just decided not to engage with that. We stopped. We just said we're not going to put Bernard Pollard on. We're not going to talk to him because I think it's been too far away. But I would like it if we could at least just celebrate a guy that won a Super Bowl and was a big part of winning a Super Bowl in this city. I wish that could be the case, and I hope that at some point in the future that can be the case again. All right. I got to get Would You Rather Wednesday scenarios up. I swear to God, I'm going to do that. We're also going to talk to Gus Johnson, who's awesome. I love Gus Johnson. So all of that is coming up on the program. Today's show also brought to you by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. The Toyota Tacoma comes in a range of models and trim lines, so you can choose the perfect Tacoma to reflect your unique personality and driving habits. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Tacomas from your local Toyota dealer today. It's Glenn Clark Radio.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Experience the best in Kamado Grilling, a complete outdoor cooking appliance. The Ginsu Kamado Grill allows anyone to sear, grill, bake, and smoke all types of food. Designed for efficiency and function, the Ginsu Kamado Grill upholds the enduring legacy of the iconic Ginsu brand. The Ginsu Kamado Grill is perfect to cook all year round, is great for parties, and ideal for tailgating with your friends. Reserve your Ginsu Kamado Grill today at ginsugrills.com and get $100 off on your pre-order when you use the promo code TAILGATE. That's ginsugrills.com. Reserve yours today.
UMBC basketball is back at Chesapeake Employers Insurance Arena, and tickets are available now at umbcretrievers.com. Don't miss any of the great early season matchups as the men take on local rivals Coppin State on November 30th and Morgan State on December 10th, while the women square off with American on December 18th. Experience the excitement of game day at the Peak by getting your tickets right now to come see the Retrievers at Chesapeake Employers Insurance Arena. Lock yours in at umbcretrievers.com.
Another Orioles season is in the books, and the Bat-Around was there every step of the way as the Birds posted their first winning season in 6 years. And after promoting 2 #1 overall prospects in Adley Rutschman and Gunnar Henderson, Mike Elias has said it's liftoff from here. Hi, I'm Paul Valley, and along with my co-host Zach Goodman, we'll be here every Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon all off season, discussing every signing, trade, and waiver claim as we navigate the cold winter months that lead to spring training. You can watch us at youtube.com/PressBoxOnline and Facebook.com/PressBoxSports, or listen live at PressBoxOnline.com/radio. And if you miss a show, you can find us anywhere you get your podcasts. So tune into the Bat-Around with Paul Valley and Zach Goodman every Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon right here at PressBox Sports.
Stan the Fan here, welcoming back one of my favorite sponsors, the Costas Inn. And everybody around Baltimore knows the Costas Inn is a great place to go and grab crabs, steaks, salads, soups, whatever's on your mind to eat in person. But did you know that the Costas Inn has upped their game? They are now one of the premier takeout places in Baltimore. Give them a call now to order your food, 410-477-1975. That's the Costas Inn, over 4100 North Point Boulevard.
The Baltimore County Police Department is hiring. Entry-level officers start at close to $59,000 a year with a $10,000 bonus. Some restrictions apply. Plus a great retirement plan, medical, dental, and vision insurance, advancement to specialized units, tuition reimbursement, 15 sick days earned per calendar year, and even further incentives for military members and veterans. If you have a passion for service and want a career for life, visit joinbaltimorecountypd.com or call 410-887-5542. You must be a United States citizen, possess a valid driver's license, and have a high school diploma or GED equivalent. The Baltimore County Police Department is an equal opportunity employer.
If you can't listen or watch live, you can subscribe to the show via Spotify, Amazon, or Apple Podcasts. Leave a 5-star review while you're there. Or, if lying isn't your thing, we'll take a 3.5-star review too.
Hey, if you missed it early in the week, Stan the Fan Charles and Ross Grimsley caught up with the icon, the Hall of Famer, Jim Palmer. You can find that show right now, Facebook.com/PressBoxSports, YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline, or PressBoxOnline.com/video. And a little bit later on this week, they're going to have a conversation with a man who's very plugged in the basketball world, Tom Strickler from the Steve Keller's National Scouting Report. Discuss Kevin Willard and how he's done in landing some local college basketball recruits. So that's coming up on Thursday at 7 o'clock. We had to do this a little bit earlier on because he's on a very busy media tour today, but we'll squeeze in anytime. We can even spend just a few minutes with the great Gus Johnson here on GCR. And it's always a thrill to be joined by the legend, Gus Johnson. He needs no introduction, but he's with us this morning, courtesy of Hampton by Hilton. Gus, good morning. It's Glenn in Baltimore. It's great to chat with you as always. Thank you for taking the time for us.
Hey, Glenn, what's going on? Say hello to the Charm City for me. I've had a lot of great days covering Ravens games.
I know that's true. We miss you around these parts. We need you back. Hopefully there'll be some Maryland basketball at some point this season. I know we're gonna talk about your crazy travel schedule. Can I just start with this, man? Because I was watching USC UCLA, and I realized as many times as we talked, I've never asked you this question. Do you ever feel pressure being Gus Johnson doing a game? Like, everybody loves you so much and loves the way that you handle the moment. Do you ever feel pressure of, like, I've got to deliver a Gus Johnson performance of calling this game?
You know, I think that's a great question, Glenn. I just want to be myself. And words can't express the amount of gratitude that I have for the people that allow me to come into their homes and just even acknowledge my work. It's really kind of nice to see your work over a course of 30 years. I started in college at Howard, right down the street from Baltimore. I used to come to Baltimore all the time. Almost had a job at the Fox station in Baltimore. I was working at WPG, and the Baltimore Fox station offered me the main job, and I turned it down, and I eventually moved to New York. But to be yourself, man, and not put too much pressure on you. I do have anxiety when I call games, and whether that be a game in the NFL, NBA, or whether that be a Little League game, if I were calling that. It's the same thing. I want to go out there and I want to perform well. I want to be at my best, and that's really one reason that I'm part of this Hampton by Hilton ad campaign, because it's really important. I travel so much. This is my 14th straight week of being on the road every week, and I got to get rest. I got to go somewhere where I can sleep and I can feel comfortable, and there's got to be a certain consistency. And when you travel to little towns like I travel to, Stillwater, Oklahoma, Norman, Oklahoma, Manhattan, Kansas, places like that, you have to know that once you land, you got a place to stay that you're going to be able to go to and rest. And for families, it's very affordable. The Hampton by Hilton hotel chain, you're 30 minutes away from it wherever you are in America. And with inflation being as high as it is and things being so expensive for families, this is just a wonderful, wonderful experience for you and your family, and for a person like me who's always on the road. And even more importantly, I got a good breakfast I know that I'm going to have. And I want some bacon. I want some eggs. I want some coffee. I want some tea. I want some juice. And I want some waffles, too. So, I think that that's part of it that allows me to just consistently over the years kind of just relax into my profession and be as best as I can be.
You are a pro, Gus Johnson. Two things there. One, we love our colleague Bruce Cunningham, but I'm never going to forgive WBFF for not getting the job done to bring you to Baltimore, because that would have been the greatest thing ever. Also, I will go ahead and get the website in, hamptonbyhilton.com. I promise I was going there, but you are a pro managing to swing it into the answer to the first question in order to make it possible.
This ain't my first rodeo, bro. This ain't my first rodeo.
I know, man. I know. You are the best at this. Gus, if I could, I know you're going to have the Big Ten championship game on Saturday night, and maybe a little bit. At this point, I think most of us are assuming that no matter what happens, Michigan's going to end up in the playoff by virtue of beating Ohio State. The scenario where, if for some reason USC loses, do you feel like, despite what happened, Ohio State, we know they were ahead in the playoff, that they deserve to get in over a 2-loss Alabama?
Oh, without question. I think that Ohio State deserves to get into the playoff if somebody loses.
Right.
TCU or a USC. And, USC, they have their hands full because that's a neutral site game, and they've already lost to Utah once this season. I think they're better now than they were when they lost to them early during the year, and that game was in Salt Lake City. But I think Ohio State is poised to have an opportunity to go to the college football playoffs if somebody loses. I think that's why the committee put them at number 5, ahead of Alabama at number 6. And I think that, the Buckeyes, if they catch a break, they'll get an opportunity to get back in that playoff. And I think Ohio State is one of the most talented, if not the most talented team in all of college football. They have all the parts in place. They just need to push the right buttons. And, the Michigan Wolverines went to Columbus last week and really play well. I mean, I was totally unexpected. But I think Ohio State, if somebody loses, they deserve to get in.
HamptonByHilton.com, again, is the website. Gus Johnson is with us. Gus, the other thing that jumps to mind for us here in Maryland being it's been a slow but clear climb for Mike Locksley, and this week is probably the example of why it is the Big Ten is getting, moving away from divisions, right? And future years, they'd be able to just run it back, play Ohio State, Michigan again in the championship game. How much do you feel like a school like Maryland, who, again, Mike Locksley has done a good job. He has turned things around. He's created a new culture, but they just have to – they're in such a difficult position going up against all of these big dogs. How much might Maryland benefit when the Big Ten gets away from divisions and you don't have to play all of these teams every year that are so difficult to have to go up against?
I think that Coach Locksley has done an excellent job at Maryland. What a terrific hire. Money well spent. He has built, as you mentioned, a new culture. He's getting players in there, and he's fighting. We had Maryland against Michigan earlier this year. Maryland could have won that game. They play hard every week. And Loxley and his staff. I love what he's doing. I love the enthusiasm around Maryland football. Now, remember, it's not the ACC. This is the Big Ten, much more difficult. And he's competing every year, and I think as time goes on, he's going to continue to build and get more players in there and win more games. So congratulations to the Maryland Terrapins. Hopefully you guys are happy about where you are right now, and you see a very bright future for the Terps. And basketball is wonderful already. You guys are undefeated. And I think that's going to be a terrific situation for the Terps in the basketball season. You got a great coach coming over from Seton Hall. And I just love what Maryland's doing football-wise, and just keep it up and be positive because you got the right guy pushing all the buttons. Love Coach Locke leading the way in College Park.
Strong agree on that. All right, Gus, one more time. Remind everybody why they should be checking out Hampton by Hilton.
Hampton by Hilton, hamptonbyhilton.com, because, you know, you need to be consistent if you're traveling, especially if you're traveling with your family, especially with prices being so high all around the country, all around the world, so to speak. And whenever you're at a Hampton by Hilton hotel, you're 30 minutes away from it, no matter where you are in that city, in our country. So it's a consistently a great place. You got good food in the morning, friendly service, and modernized rooms, and I stand by it.
You are the best. Gus Johnson, always a pleasure. Thank you for taking the time for us this morning.
I really appreciate you.
That's Gus Johnson, of course, the legend himself. Man, I was enjoying that USC-UCLA game a couple weeks ago. Of course, I enjoy any time I get to spend a little time with Gus Johnson, but that one in particular was outstanding. All right, we are winding down hour number one of the program. A couple of things. One, we got a little bit of traction with a TikTok yesterday. By far and away the most viewed TikTok we've ever had, and it's not close, and we're only not even 24 hours into it. I got to fix the headphones during the commercial break. They've been cutting it. It's fine. We'll deal with it during the commercial break. Thankfully, we don't have a guest on the phone right now because it'd be very awkward. I wouldn't be hearing them whatsoever. I bet what you're saying is really great, but I don't know what it is. Don't mess with it. Don't mess with it. Commercial break. All right? This is what I'm telling you. Commercial break. So if you haven't seen it yet, and MC Ernest, Micah, he's been doing this top 3 segment with us for a few weeks, and yesterday we decided to have a little bit of fun with Lamar getting some hot water on Twitter and offer a top 3 suggestions of perhaps comebacks that he could use the next time that would get him in a little bit less trouble. And it was silly, and it was just fun, and people seem to like it because it's what do the kids say? It's doing numbers. So at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter and at Glenn Clark Radio on TikTok, we are going to try to keep my guy Carson Weekly tells me he's going to be back in town soon, so we might have him come back in and help us out and maybe do a little more TikTok content. Very old man trying to talk about TikTok, but we appreciate it. Please give us a follow over there if you don't mind. That would be very helpful for us. And then also thank you to Jason, who just got in this morning with his donation for our raffle. We are still we have fewer than 20 spots. I don't remember what the number is off the top of my head, but we are more than 80% of the way there to filling our raffle to help us help the Helping Up mission. We need to go buy them some toiletries and underwear and things that we can't donate this year. If you haven't seen, you can go to glennclarkradio.com or at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter. And great news, last night at the Tyus Bowser Show, both Tyus and Marcus Williams signed prints as well. So we now have 4 raffle prizes. We have the Calais Campbell autographed helmet, we have a Trey Mancini autographed print, and then we have autographed prints from both Tyus Bowser and Marcus Williams. So 4 raffle prizes will be available for whoever wins our Helping Up Mission raffle. At Glenn-Clark on Venmo, GlennClark180 or GlennClarkRadio.com, or GlennClarkRadio@gmail.com on PayPal. $Glenn Clark Radio on Cash App. $25 gets you in. Try to message me on Twitter, DM me, something like that. Let me know that you got in so that I can make sure that I get the number for the raffle spot that you want. But get in quickly. We want to fill this up in the next day so that we can go ahead and be on with it and move on to the next thing we're going to do in order to try to raise some money and get some more items for the Helping Up mission. All right? Drew Forrester joins us next. It's Glenn Clark Radio.
The Baltimore County Police Department is hiring. Entry-level officers start at close to $59,000 a year with a $10,000 bonus. Some restrictions apply. Plus a great retirement plan, medical, dental, and vision insurance, advancement to specialized units, tuition reimbursement, 15 sick days earned per calendar year, and even further incentives for military members and veterans. If you have a passion for service and want a career for life, visit joinbaltimorecountypd.com or call 410-887-5542. You must be a United States citizen, possess a valid driver's license, and have a high school diploma or GED equivalent. The Baltimore County Police Department is an equal opportunity employer.
Come experience Maryland's #1 sportsbook this NFL season at the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel, the ultimate place for any sports enthusiast. Take advantage of our 24/7 kiosks, massive video screens, and watch all the action from the best seat in the house. With more money paid out than anyone around, make every moment more at the new FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel in Hanover, Maryland. Please play responsibly. Gambling problem? Please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit mdgamblinghelp.org.
The weather outside is really unpleasant, so it's time to warm up with some comfort classics this winter at your neighborhood Glory Days Grill. Try the Twisted Ribs and Wings combo. It's 2 full pounds of meat, the mac and cheese bites, Mr. Richards meatloaf, the citrus salmon, the winter spinach salad, and for dessert, here's internet radio personality Griffin Bass to tell you about the bourbon butter cake.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Pair it with a blood orange bourbon cider or a devil's backbone cranberry smash. Place your order now at glorydaysgrill.com. Glory Days Grill. Great food, good sports.
That first sip. That first bite. Start your day off right with a delicious breakfast at Royal Farms. Choose from a fantastic selection of fresh Royal Farms breakfast sandwiches and top it off with a rich hot cup of the freshest coffee in the world. At Royal Farms, breakfast is available day and night. It's the freshest breakfast in the world. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
Have you been to Guilford Hall Brewery? Located in Baltimore's Station North neighborhood, Guilford Hall Brewery breaks the craft brew mold with their great handcrafted microbrews and amazing Bavarian-style food selections. Join Guilford Hall 7 days a week for Orioles, Ravens, and all of your favorite college games. Make plans now to watch the big games, play trivia, or bring your dog for Yappy Hour. They even have free valet service on Friday and Saturday nights. Go to guilfordhall.com for a complete schedule of events, beer listings, and food and drink specials. We'll see you at Guilford Hall Brewery.
Whether your focus is luxury and comfort, convenience and technologically advanced connectivity, or sporty performance and aggressive styling, we've got the perfect Highlander for you. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Highlanders from your local Toyota dealer today.
Looking for a simple holiday meal? Try Chick-fil-A catering. From Chick-fil-A nuggets to mac and cheese, enjoy a variety of tray options sized perfectly for your get-together. Order through the Chick-fil-A app and bring smiles to your family gathering. Availability and order requirements vary. See restaurant for details.
Tune in to Simply the Bets every Tuesday and Weekend at Bookies every other Thursday at 11:40 a.m. And if you really have nothing better to do, keep listening to this show too.
Today's show brought to you by the all-new Ginsu Kamado Grill. Of course, go to ginsugrills.com. Use the code TAILGATE, and you'll save $100 on your order. And also, if you're stopping by the game on Sunday, if you're planning on heading out to the Baltimore-Denver matchup, you can come by the Game Day Firehouse ahead of the game at the Firefighters Union Hall, 1202 Ridgely Street, just west of the stadium. Sample some cooking from the Ginsu Kamado Grill. Register to win your own, as well as $500 worth of grilling meats. The Ginsu Kamado Grill. Again, ginsugrills.com. By the way, it looks like the number is about 15 spots. I was trying to do the math after Jason just got his in for our Helping Up Mission raffle. Forrest, I'm going to need you to push that out again today. We need to get that thing filled up so I can move on to the next thing. All right? I need that filled. This is the thing. I'm not nervous about it. It's going to get filled. I don't want to get to the point where I have to start calling you out by name.
Which we will do.
Oh, will we ever do that? Most of you that are part of our inner circle have already gotten in, and I appreciate that. We're going to do a charity bowl pick'em as well. Brian Powell got that launched, so we will have the details for that on Friday. So before Friday, please fill this so we don't have to try to do two things at once. We can stop plugging this and move on to plugging the other thing. Again, the goal here is to raise over $3,000 that we can, Drew and I will go. It's the second most amount of money we've ever spent on underwear together. Drew and I will head over to Target
Spent a
Whitewash.
lot last year.
We did, and we spent quite a bit. But this year, that's all we're doing. We're not doing coats and clothes the way that we've done in the past. That makes it so much more important.
All right,
for
Messi,
us
you
this
creep. You better come through for me.
What's that all about?
Oh, that's right. We're on the air. I need a goal from him.
Oh, are you doing gambling? That's very unlikely. Unlike
Need
you.
a goal from him. I really have a funny feeling about Saudi Arabia today. I don't know why.
All right.
Against
All
Mexico.
right. I guess I should say
Mexico
here.
hasn't scored a goal yet.
If you're thinking about being like Drew Forrester and betting on sports, then go to
FanDuel.
PressBoxOnline.com/offers.
Right, which I did.
And sign up. You signed up for the, what'd you sign up for?
FanDuel.
FanDuel. That was the one you chose?
It's the one that works the best.
I tend to agree with that. But there are other great offers that are available. I also signed up for DraftKings because their offer was very good. There are so many great offers available. PressBoxOnline.com/offers.
Jeremy Kahn just sent me all his picks.
He sent them to you personally?
Well, I sent him a text and said, Glenn and I are wondering what your picks are. And
Okay, he just sent them all to you. Well, that's nice of Jeremy. By the way, scoreless right now.
I know.
Tunisia and France, Australia and Denmark. I don't even know the scenario.
Tunisia could get in if they win.
If they win,
They would need I think they would need a draw in the other one.
Oh, they would?
Yeah.
I thought Tunisia. Okay. Oh, whatever.
So it's France and Denmark that are basically going to go through.
Well, Denmark,
Australia could win.
Australia is in the driver's
That's
seat.
a great point. That's a great point. Yeah, I forgot about that. Damn it, I completely forgot about that.
It's been a weird.
It's
been a weird World Cup.
All right, let's talk about
in some ways.
If this is it, if they turn around on Saturday and lose 2-0 to the Netherlands, how do you describe this World Cup for the United States?
Still been very successful. I think. There are a lot of moving parts of this that are easy to see, and some parts that I think you've got to really have a discerning eye for to say where are we as a soccer playing power. And I probably shouldn't use that word.
Power. Yeah, I don't know about any of that.
Right, but where are we, right? And look, it's great that they got through. They haven't lost yet, which I think only 5 or 6 other countries can say. They haven't lost yet. If not for that clumsy, reckless tackle by Zimmerman, they might have won the thing. They might have won the group, right?
Yeah, they would never made up the goal differential because England was.
Because England won yesterday, right?
They had 6 against
right.
Iran.
But I think if they lose on Saturday, which a big part of it will be how healthy is Pulisic. But I wouldn't write them off of just as an automatic loss on Saturday. I think they're going to show well. They've played defensively. They've actually been very good. And in this thing now, right, you can get it to 90 minutes, and then you can say,
"Yep,
we'll just play for penalty.
Pack it in, try to play for
penalty kicks."
I said that earlier. I think people don't understand. You don't have to win. You don't have to win another match.
Right.
You don't have to score another goal.
Correct.
And you could win the World Cup.
So I think that if they get beat Saturday, it's still a success. I think Berhalter, despite what I thought were 2 really, really bizarre substitutions at the end, and I am not a, hey, we won, but let's nitpick. Raven fans are, great at that.
Yeah.
I don't typically do that, ever. You won, you move on to Denver, as John said the other day. But those 2 substitutions at the end of the game were really bizarre, I thought.
Yeah, you're not a Shaq Moore.
I'm not a Shaq Moore fan at all. I think he stinks. And I don't think
You know
Haji Wright's much
You know the
better.
shame is on Shaq Moore is like when he pushed up there at the end, like if there had been they had thought that through a little bit more.
But the same thing happened to him in the game against Wales. It happened to him in this game. He was on the field for a minute, and his guy beat him and was in position to score a goal. Haji Wright not taking the ball into the corner and killing the last minute of the game. Like, what are you? I realize you want to try to score a World Cup goal, and you're a forward, so, like all goal scorers, you're thinking about scoring a goal. You don't have to score a goal. Take the ball to the corner and kill the game. But those were 2 really, really bizarre substitutions. If you're looking for size in the back, put Aaron Long in there. If that's what you're looking for, and that's why you want to Haji right in, because he's 6'3", and if there's a dangerous free kick at the end, he's got height. Like, put a defensive player in there. But anyway, I think that they've showed that they've put together some good soccer. If you take the composite 270 plus, whatever they've played, in theory they've played 270, but they've played more than that. There's been 120 minutes of really, really good soccer, I would say.
Okay.
Where they took the game to England.
Yep.
Certainly yesterday in the first half. And I tell you, when Iran tried to play in the second half, and they weren't trying to dummy the game down like they did in the first half, I thought they were pretty impressive. They worked the ball nicely. They really tried.
I think it's
in the last 30 minutes.
I think we all want to say Iran is definitely better than what we thought they were, but England still beat them 6-2, right? Like, it's very difficult for me to figure out exactly what Iran was at this tournament.
But they beat a Wales team we couldn't beat.
I get it, but they didn't score until it was
90th minute,
and it was 11-10 at that point, right? Like, they needed to have the extra man in order to score. So I don't know what Iran was.
But I think you've seen some exceptional performances from some people that bode very well for 26. With no disrespect to Clint Dempsey, because I think he's one of our 10 best American players ever. This is not Clint Dempsey at 30 having a great World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
This is
younger players.
Musa's had, and I'll be the first to say, I was lukewarm on him at best at the beginning of this. He has really, really played well. And yesterday when Pulisic went out,
the free
and
kick,
the free
kick was
that was.
But
I'm not sure why he took that.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
Why would Acosta not take it? That's why he's in the team,
right?
But other than that, when Pulisic, and this is the thing that again some people that just watch it don't see, when Pulisic went out, everything went through Smith. I mean, Musa. Everything. I was going to say Musa Smith. Everything went through him.
But that's the first time that name's come up in 10
Everything
years.
went through him, and he didn't lose the ball. He's been terrific. Tyler Adams has been.
Oh my God!
If you talk about making money, in 3 games, he's made an incredible amount of money because his next team will pay a lot of money for him. I think, despite the fact that he's been largely untested, Turner's been terrific. I think,
the thing in the first game.
Okay, but I'm telling you that if he doesn't come out there and Ream loses that guy, they have a chance to score a goal.
I know that's true, but
I think he did the right thing there. I really do. I don't think you can allow the offensive player running at full speed to collect that ball against Ream. I think he did the right thing. But I'm telling you, yesterday, he was, even the diving header at the end, that ball wasn't getting by him. I think he's been very good. I think Zimmerman, defensively,
I think you're a little bit higher. I'm good still with Turner because of what I've seen in other games, right? Like he's
definitely our best goalkeeper.
I think his tournament has been okay.
He hasn't allowed a goal.
I get that. Well, I mean, he hasn't allowed a goal run of play.
Correct.
Right? Like, I understand what you're
how's
saying.
it not been anything but
Well, I mean, it's not like he's been facing
that's what I said. He hasn't. He's been largely untested. But when he's been tested, when he's had 2 or 3 dangerous, and look,
I think
80% of the most dangerous plays in soccer come from balls that are played in from the wing.
I understand.
He's been extraordinarily good in those. Extraordinarily good. Nothing's been dropped. Nothing's been punched away. He's caught everything. He reads the game great. He, in my opinion, by far is our best goalie. And I know a lot of people are high on Horvath. This kid's way better than him, in my opinion.
I guess I'm less certain that he's going to be the goalie in 4 years. You know what I mean?
I'd bet you anything he is.
Okay.
What
are we betting?
Chinese lunch.
We're never going to
go to Asian kitchens.
Write that down.
We used to do that all
Griffin's,
the time.
Griffin's going to move on.
Care,
Yeah, correct. You're all right over there?
Then we didn't care who won. I think that Zimmerman, other than the and I think last week I talked to you about how that play unfolded. Other than the clumsy tackle on Bale, and his touch on the ball isn't good, but he's a defensive player by nature. I think Zimmerman's been very good overall. I was a little surprised he didn't get the start yesterday, but I do understand he was shaky with the ball the other day against Wales, and I get it. Iran's got a little bit more speed. I didn't particularly think the Carter Vickers thing was a good move, but everything Berhalter has done has worked out. He hasn't made a bad move. It's weird because on the surface it looks like he has.
Yeah.
And obviously people are bat-esque crazy about Reyna not
the
playing.
Reyna thing is really puzzling to me, man. I
But
don't get it.
Here's I was on a podcast yesterday talking about U.S. soccer with somebody.
They call everybody else on the planet.
Yeah,
and you were the only
one who could
person
do
left.
it. You could say whatever you want to say about Berhalter. You can be as critical. I know Dempsey's very critical of him. You can be as critical as you want about him. He took over a team that was a program, not a team, but a program that was in shambles. They couldn't get a point against Trinidad to get to the World Cup in 2018. He took that group over. He brought in a number of unknown players. Yes, some of them are from the MLS, and there's this constant back and forth.
That's not good enough, right?
But he brought those guys in. They won the Nations Cup. They won the Gold Cup. They won. They beat Mexico.
Yes.
In CONCACAF qualifying.
Yep.
Didn't tie them. They beat them handily in the U.S. They they made it through. They got through. They didn't have to. They could have finished second. They didn't beat Costa Rica in the last game. They didn't need to. They didn't really care where they finished. They just didn't want to lose by 4 goals.
Mm-hmm.
They came here.
The Canada thing is really the only true blemish, and we're acknowledging Canada's legit.
They are legit.
Yeah.
And if they're in a different group, they might have gone through. They've got some real horses there, man.
Mm-hmm.
Canada's going to be heard from.
I understand that.
And then they come here, and they don't lose. They play a game yesterday where not only his immediate contractual situation, but his legacy as an American soccer coach is at stake. Because if they fall on their face yesterday and lose 2-0,
yep,
he's
done.
gone.
Yeah, he's done 100%.
Now you can't fire him.
Yep.
I mean, people are going to say we need a better coach, but all you're doing when you're saying that is you're denying the fact that he did everything he was supposed to do to get them here. And I'm not as huge fan of his. But
I hear
he's done it.
Sound like me talking about Greg Roman, by the way.
Well, yeah,
it's what you sound like. I'm like, look, dude, I don't love the guy, but the hell do you guys? What is it that you think you want?
So I think, and then you got Pulisic has obviously had a dramatic role in both of their goals. I'm still, and when I say that he's polarizing, I think that's not the right word I'm looking for. I think he's a very, very good player. Don't get me wrong. I think he's our best player, without question. I don't know that he's a great player.
I hear you.
I think he's a very good player.
It's an interesting.
And I think if he were a great player, he would be playing for Chelsea.
I think that's fair.
Here's even more not an indictment on him, because I think he's a wonderful player. If he played for, I don't even know where Millwall plays anymore. Hell, they may be in the 3rd division. If he played for what we used to call 1st division, there's Premier and then whatever the next one is, Champion. Whatever.
He played for Wrexham.
If he played for Wrexham, he would be a wrecking ball in that division.
He'd rip it apart, 100%.
He'd play 90 minutes a game.
Right.
So he hasn't found his footing yet at the top level. And by the way, the Premier League, if you ask anyone that follows real soccer, the Premier League's about the 5th best league in the world.
There's an argument. I mean, there's certainly an argument. I hear you.
Right. You don't see Messi going to play in his prime for Newcastle.
That's fair.
Right.
That's fair.
So, but I think he's a wonderful player. And we need a few more of those, right, for 26. I think McKennie's not healthy. He's been fine. He hasn't been great, but he's been okay. He's not healthy for sure. So I'm very galvanized by what we've seen. I think I think they've done everything we would have asked of them to do. I think it would have been a better look yesterday if they'd have won 2-0 or 3-0.
It would have been. I think
we wouldn't have
but
been.
I still think Saturday is important here too. Drew Forrester.
I agree. I do. I mean, we can't.
Hang on. Let
I don't want to
let me do a sponsor
run
read
out of
real
the
quick.
gym.
It's my show. Let me do a sponsor read. All right.
Not on Wednesdays. It's not.
I understand that. I didn't book a guest today when you were coming in. God,
I got to get more water.
Oh, you go get more water while I tell everybody about the Baltimore area Chick-fil-A restaurants. Yeah, well, yeah, that would have been nice. I would have liked that. If you're looking for a simple holiday meal, try Chick-fil-A catering. From Chick-fil-A nuggets to mac and cheese. Enjoy a variety of tray options sized perfectly for your get-together. Order through the Chick-fil-A app and bring smiles to your family gathering. Availability and order requirements vary. See restaurant for details. We're going to get into Would You Rather Wednesday here in just a second. The scenarios are up at Glenn Clark Radio on both Facebook and Twitter for you to respond. It's brought to you by Glory Days Grill. Somebody who responds today will be selected to win a $25 gift card to Glory Days Grill. So you can participate in Would You Rather Wednesday at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter or Facebook. For those, again, that missed it by virtue of the U.S. winning yesterday, they will now take on the Netherlands in the round of 16 on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Let me know where you're watching because I might make an appearance on Saturday morning. I'm excited about this.
Me?
Not you. I don't want to watch with you.
I was going to say.
Talk to me about Saturday. Netherlands is a different animal. They're to me, they're better than England. They're bigger than England. They're more physical than England.
Okay. If so, it's negligible, in my opinion.
Okay. I don't know, man. Those dudes are big. Those are big dudes.
I think England, if they get the right, what do they got? Senegal next? This will be a very difficult game for England. Senegal will be a difficult game for England.
Okay. Well,
I think if
played
England,
really well.
I think if England gets through Senegal, they could be a finalist.
Okay. So take me through. Is it your assumption that they play to try to keep this? That the U.S. their hopes are pinned on? We can't allow Netherlands to score. We got to play a very boring style of soccer. Like what is the path for the U.S. on Saturday?
I think they're going to play to score the first goal. I'm trying to do the lineup, what I think it'll be. I think they're going to play to score the first goal. I think this largely depends on what they do with Pulisic and if he can play.
By the way, I should tell people. I think
like,
people might be confused when I'm talking to you about sports. Drew actually knows soccer, like unlike other things.
Unlike every other sport.
Yeah, right. Drew actually
right.
knows soccer. So
I think this lineup, the lineup and the way they approach the game is definitely going to depend largely on whether or not Pulisic can play. It seems like he's going to play. That's what it seems like. And if he plays, they may have to give him a shot or something beforehand. He'll get out there and run around. How healthy is he? I have no idea. But I'm going to base what I'm going to say to you on him playing and being healthy.
Okay.
I'm going to base that. Okay. Their biggest question will be what will they do up top? Because I think Sargent isn't going to play. That would be what's coming out of the little leaks that you're hearing is he's probably not going to be fit to play. So what are they going to do up top? It would be shocking to me if he started Reyna, unless Pulisic can't play. And if Pulisic can't play, he's going to have to start Reyna. But if he hasn't played Reyna in the first 3 games,
why is suddenly
Why would you suddenly throw him in there?
I hear you.
And part of it is, who are you going to play up top which would complement him? So to me, the guy that you're going to have to start, you cannot start that Haji Wright. So you're going to have to give Ferreira a start up top. To me, that would be the one thing. Now, his size could be a problem against those guys because they are big in the back, and he's not big.
Mm-hmm.
So his size could be an issue. I don't think he's going to make any lineup changes except I think Zimmerman will be in for Carter Vickers. I don't think he'll play Carter Vickers again or won't start him again, right? And then this would be the only guy that I would potentially see him because this is, I hate to say this, but this is the kind of thing Berhalter would do, is he wouldn't start Anthony Robinson.
Oh, okay.
And he would start Yedlin in his place.
Okay, all right. Because of his experience?
His experience and Robinson's touch yesterday was really, really suspect.
Yeah, I hear you.
And lost a lot of balls. And I could just see Berhalter saying, hey, I'm going to give Yedlin some run. He's the only guy in America, by the way, that would have put Yedlin on the team.
Fair.
This is his
Yep.
guy.
Yep.
So I think they're going to play for the first goal, and I think a large part of this depends on what the story is with Pulisic. If for some reason he can't play, that definitely changes the way they play.
You think they at that point
then they might
packing
say
it in a little more.
Right.
Yeah.
Then they might say, hey, why don't we start Acosta? Maybe we sit McKennie because he's not healthy. Let's sit him out. Let's start Acosta, who's a little bit better defensively. Let's start Reyna. We'll play Reyna. At least we've got somebody that's a little dangerous on the ball. But if we can get this thing to 0-0 in the 70th minute, we'll play the last 40 minutes to try to not give up a goal. It would actually be 60 because you play 15 and 15, right?
Yeah. 10, is it 15 and 15?
I think it's
15.
It's
50. It is. It's definitely.
Yes,
it is. It is. Remember, because the Belgium game.
Yeah.
a few
So
years back. Yep.
I think this is really going to depend on Pulisic's health. And if he's healthy, I think they're going to try to win the game. If he isn't healthy, I think they'll try to win it for 60 or 70 minutes. And then he'll concede, if that's the right word. And he's got plenty of guys in the back. He can play Scally. He can play long. If he wants to play defense for the last 30 or 40 minutes, he can. The only thing you got to remember is you have to have some guys on the field to take penalty kicks.
It's true. It's true. It can't just all be defenders, right?
Right.
It's got to be defenders that you trust to take penalty kicks, I guess.
Right.
Like, you got to have some strikers out there that you are confident in their ability.
And I think as much as Sargent hasn't been great, I thought he added something to the game yesterday. I thought it was one of his better performances that I've seen from him. We haven't seen much from him. But I thought yesterday he showed some signs that, like, hey, he could be useful if now he's hurt. I like Aronson. I've always liked Aronson. He didn't do a whole lot yesterday in his 45 minutes. But it's hard to not do. And I was worried when Pulisic went out because we weren't going to score again.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was pretty fair bet. We weren't going to score without him.
It would have taken some.
It would have taken what happened at the end.
Right.
They're pressing.
Right.
We get a 3-on-1 and we score.
Right.
But that didn't happen. But we weren't going to score in the normal run of play without Pulisic. And that's what would worry me about Saturday if he can't play. I don't know how we're going to score without him.
No, I'm in complete agreement. There's just not a whole lot there, but that's, there's nothing new about that.
And it also wouldn't surprise me if Pulisic can't play. It also wouldn't surprise me if he sat Weah to start and, again, played somebody in there, whether or not it might be Acosta or Aronson, played somebody in there who's a little bit more defensive-minded.
Mm-hmm.
And Weah is always available in the 60th minute if we're losing 1-0.
Sure. You bring him on there. He's had some good touches. He's had
this whole thing is going to center on whether Pulisic can
I
play.
hear you.
It's all going to it's kind of similar a little bit maybe to the Ravens and Ronnie Stanley. If Ronnie Stanley doesn't play,
they're hopeless.
It changes a lot of things that they do.
I mean, as far as winning a Super Bowl, they're
But
hopeless.
it changes a lot of things they do in the game.
Sure. 100%, right? They didn't
and
they had become a team that was going to run the ball and play defense.
How'd
And
that go Sunday,
then they
by the
couldn't
way?
run the ball.
How did that go?
What, you really want to talk about?
Oh my gosh!
You really that really something you want to discuss? I'm done. I'm over it.
I mean,
I don't want to discuss it any further.
That one was of the four. That one was the worst of them all to me.
I don't know how do you separate one from the other? Like how?
It was Jacksonville.
I get it. I understand that.
It was Jeff Spicoli.
But it was on the road, and
Jeff
it was
Spicoli beat you at the
all
end.
All right. I mean, the dude definitely looks like Spicoli. You're not wrong about
But I mean,
that.
it just and look. Here's the thing about talking about ways to lose. So many things happened in that game that you know this because you're on Twitter like me. Everyone wanted John fired, Roman fired, McDonald fired. So many things happened in that game. Lamar threw 3 balls that all 3 should have been touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Then he threw 3 that could have been had he thrown the ball to the right spot.
Well,
right?
or somebody kept running. The play to DeMarcus Robinson downfield. DeMarcus Robinson just decided not to run.
Right, but Lamar had 3 throws that were awesome. Then he missed 3 guys, right? Then Duvernay takes the ball out of the end zone, which is inexplicable.
It's insane.
Inexplicable.
Yep.
When there's no reason to do it.
Yep.
Right? You create a fumble on the last series. All you got to do is fall on the ball. You don't. Their guy falls on it.
Yep.
Game's over if you fall on it.
Correct.
You don't. He does, right? 3rd and 13. All you got to do here is not give him
3rd and 13.
14
3rd
yards.
and 21.
I thought it was 3rd and 13.
No, it was 3rd and 21.
And you give up a 24-yard pass.
Well, no, they gave up a 17-yard pass, and then they converted 4th down.
I must be thinking of something else.
I don't know
I
what
thought
you're-
they had a
After
I thought there was a
after
third.
the fumble, it was 3rd and 21.
Gotcha. Gave up.
They got-
that was 4th down. Then they threw the ball.
Yes,
right.
correct.
But all of those things like that. This is how you lose.
Yes.
Okay, here's how we're going to lose.
Yes.
We're going to drop 3 touchdowns.
All of it.
And score 20 and score 9 instead of 21.
And you know what? I kept coming away with like.
Then our field goal kicker can't make one at the end of the game.
What a bum! That guy stinks. Well, no. The funny part being, like, even when they got the ball back, I'm just saying to myself, dude, if you can just get 15 yards, you're fine here.
And they let us do it.
Well, they didn't. They did exactly what they did was exactly right.
They figured he wasn't going to kick a 67
Leave the
yard.
tight end in the flat. Like, if that's what you're going to run out there, leave him. Tell them they can have that, because that dude cannot get far enough. I've said it a couple times. I hate saying it, but Lamar is a better option running in that situation than throwing it underneath to Josh Oliver. Like, Lamar at that point is the guy that's fast enough to be able to get enough yards in that situation. Josh Oliver just isn't. Like, they were happy to let Josh Oliver
the
be
one
with
thing
the ball in his hands.
one thing that's really an issue to me personally
is that players aren't good enough.
No.
They're lining up Deshaun Jackson and Demarcus Robinson as their wide receivers.
Yeah, but I would say this about the whole snapping of the ball thing. In the 20 seconds, you get out of the huddle, and in the 20 seconds that you have to get the ball snapped, I don't want to say real quarterback because I'm separating Lamar for a second. The real quarterbacks in the league, and I'm including Lamar as one of those, the real quarterbacks in the league, in those 20 seconds, they have to compute 15 different things in that 20 seconds. What formation am I looking at? What play have we called? When we called this play earlier in the game, what formation did they have on that play? What was the result of that play? Was I forced out of the pocket? Was it play action? Like, they have to do all of this in the 20 seconds that they are standing there looking at where's the linebacker, where's the Mike, where's the safety, where's the blitz, are they blitzing, who's my single coverage? They're doing all of that. You can't do any of that when you're standing there going like this for 5 seconds. Snap me the ball.
I'm with you.
You're out of you're out of your computered brain then. And I don't know why it happens or how it happens. I have no idea if Greg Roman's to blame. I have no idea if Lamar's to blame. I have no idea who's to blame. But I know that you can't be effective when you're standing there 25 times a game, not twice.
Right.
25 times a game. The clock is at 4, and
So
you're yelling.
The bigger problem to me, and we were talking about this data yesterday. Jonas Schaefer from the Sun
saw that.
The bigger problem is not because that data doesn't actually tell us anything. The Dolphins are one of the best offenses in football, and they don't snap the ball until the clock is about to be over.
Right.
I keep looking for – everybody keeps saying the real number that we need to get is when are you getting to the line? Like, at what point in the play clock are you getting to the line of scrimmage? Because it was clear, and it was made clear to me, that part of this is the general overall strategy of the Ravens. Say, look, time of possession, we want to snap the ball later in the play clock. We want to be a time of possession team. We want to have the ball. We want to limit how many times. This is the way they built themselves. They want to run the ball.
Okay.
But there's a big difference between being a time of possession team that's panicked, as you're alluding to, versus a determined time of possession team.
And I don't even know if panicked is the right word. I think you're
I think panicked is the word. When he's flipping out, like, it looks panicked. It looks like you're completely out of sorts.
But I'm not sure that's the word I'm looking for. I think what's happened is your ability to navigate what's going on in front of you has ended. It's ended.
I think
once you start panicking.
Yes. I think they all play together. I think that's the way that it works.
So,
but it's
look,
a tricky thing.
They're going to walk all over these guys this weekend. But I tell you,
Oh, I don't
It's
think
not-
any of Pittsburgh and Cleveland are gimmies.
I don't
think
either.
Any of that is.
I don't either.
I
hate
think
to
it's
say that.
insane to suggest that any of Pittsburgh.
I hate
and
to
Cleveland
say
are
that.
gimmies.
One thing you would say about Tomlin, probably similar to Harbaugh, is
Yep.
they're going to fight you. They're going to fight you.
Yep.
Whether or not if you're better than them, okay, but they're going to fight you for sure.
100%. All right, let's play Would You Rather Wednesday. Would You Rather Wednesday is brought to you by
Would you
Glory.
rather have a cough or sneezing?
I am not. I don't love how you sound coming in here, man.
I'm good.
I haven't gotten my shot
I haven't
yet.
tested positive yet in 2 days.
2 days. Well, not for that.
Right. I'm good. I just have a cold now.
Would You Rather Wednesday is brought to you by Glory Days Grill. The Comfort Classics menu is available at your neighborhood Glory Days Grill. It features the twisted ribs and wings combo.
And they're so good.
The winter spinach salad, the citrus salmon, the mac and cheese bites, the bourbon butter cake.
Oh, my God. It's so good.
Thank you, Griffin. Mr. Richards meatloaf, the wings of gold, so much more. Pair it with the blood orange bourbon cider, the Devil's Backbone cranberry smash. Find out more, glorydaysgrill.com. You want to go say hello? You can go say hello. Like, that's fine. Go ahead, Griffin, and just everything will be fine.
Is there a girl here?
No, it might be a problem for you, actually.
Why?
The police are here.
Well, it's certainly not the first time you and I have heard that, right? They're not kicking us out of the stadium, are they?
They've reached the end of the line. It's the end of the line.
This is the end of the road for you boys.
All right. Would You Rather Wednesday. Number 1, would you rather you have scored an iconic, perhaps even a mortal, heroic goal at the World Cup?
Okay.
But the aftermath of it, much like we might be worried about with our boy, you have a permanent scar down there. Again, scored the goal, got all the love.
Permanent scar.
But you have a permanent scar down there because of
on it?
Yes.
Like actually
on it.
Like right on it?
Yes. A permanent scar. Or, you're a guy who played a couple of minutes at the World Cup and got to be a part of it. You didn't score any sort of heroic goal, but you're good. You're good in that department.
I don't need to score.
You don't need to score.
No, I'm good. I can get enough girls by just saying I played in the World Cup.
I would think that you would be all right with
I'm good.
that.
I don't need to score.
Everybody else is going the other way.
Are they
I'm not
really?
really sure they're thinking it through.
Yeah, I don't either.
I'm not really. Now, a few people have asked, is it still functional? Yeah, it's still functional, but scarred. Permanent scar.
I think I'll just take.
I think it's more difficult for
played in the
people
World
to
Cup.
answer that question. Griffin, you want to get an answer? You got to turn your microphone on.
How bad is this scar?
No, we can't do this now.
There's a permanent scar.
Here's how bad it is. A girl's going to look at it and go,
Yeah.
I'm good.
Really?
They're going to notice the permanent scar.
I really want to score a goal.
I understand that. We'll see how badly. I don't know how CP's feeling after yesterday. I offered him mine afterwards. I said, look, I'm good. Like, I've already had my kids.
Well, they said it's an injured pelvis.
Yeah, the pelvis. That's what they decided.
I guess I'll just go coming off the bench.
You still played in the World Cup.
Yeah, I
you
played in the
still
World
were
Cup.
a World Cup soccer player at that point.
Look, I played in the U.S. Senior Open, and I didn't have to get a scar.
That's a great point.
I can just tell
You have
people
that
for the
forever.
rest of my life, I played in the U.S. Senior Open, and I don't have a scar.
Oh,
Now, if you'd have said to me scar or win,
yeah.
Now I got to think about that.
Scar. So if you won the World Cup,
If I won the U.S. Senior Open,
if you won the U.S.
would I
Senior
take
Open,
a scar? I probably would.
I would. I don't know how the answer wouldn't be that.
I
You
would.
pick the U.S. Senior Open. Why don't you try to make it a real tournament?
Well, because I'm 60
I understand
now.
that.
But yes.
I understand that. Would you rather, this, of course, hypothetically, not something that's, would you rather kick the ball away and play defense with a 7-point lead and 2 minutes left, or kick the ball away with a 2-point lead and 30 seconds left? Obviously, this, of course, a direct question based on everybody saying they wanted Josh Oliver to go down at the 1-yard line on Sunday. They would not have been able to run the clock out. Jaguars did still have one timeout left and the 2-minute warning. That play ended at 2:02, so it would have either taken you to the 2-minute warning or they would have gotten a
To me,
timeout.
you always want the other team to have the least amount of time they can. I don't care what the score
Seen
is.
it pretty simple for teams to get into field goal range in 30 seconds these days.
The 15 if you're the Chiefs or the Bills.
I understand. I'm saying you're giving.
Those games are never over.
I understand that.
4 seconds left. It's
the Ravens were 3 yards away from doing it in 10 seconds.
Right.
I mean,
I hear you.
That's the you're still saying 30?
I still think you want the least amount of time.
Okay.
I think I would go with when I have the bigger lead and giving it to him with 2 minutes.
Okay.
Because
That worked out well the other day.
well, yeah. But yeah,
I mean, we
because
could say
they
that
could.
about
I mean,
anything.
you can still you have 2 chances to get a stop really because they score
Yeah.
and then stop the 2-point conversion.
Or they kick the extra point. We didn't know the the
Right,
Jaguars
right.
could
And
have
then it
kicked an
goes to
extra point.
overtime.
Then you have the opportunity in overtime.
And they're playing to score, so they might score in 10 seconds, or
100%.
they might score in 2
Yes,
minutes.
you don't know that they'll
Right,
run the
yeah,
entire
so you could still
2
get the
minutes
ball back, and so
You think you've got more pathways to a victory
yeah.
by giving it back to them the way the Ravens did there.
Yeah.
Well, you were wrong. They
I
lost.
wasn't, yeah,
You were wrong.
Well, also, I mean, Marvin Jones didn't catch that ball either. So.
What's that?
Marvin Jones didn't catch
He
that
did.
ball either.
I got terrible news for
That
you.
was an incredible
It was unbelievable. Well, it was an unbelievable throw. Like, we can make fun of Trevor Lawrence all you want. There's no defending that throw.
That was a
everything about
yeah,
it.
I mean, for as much as Peters has been maligned, and
Fair,
rightfully
rightfully so, yes.
That one wasn't really
What are you
on
going to
him.
do? What are you going to do there? That's the ball's in the perfect spot. The dude miraculously able to tap another body part down before he's out of bounds. Everything about it.
No,
Unbelievable.
it was special.
All right, and would you rather the Orioles offseason is them going all in for one guy, it could be Rodon or Trey Turner, one guy, or it's spread out a little bit more and they get, say, Jose Quintana, Michael Brantley, maybe even Josh Bell?
I mean, I'll take I'll take multiple guys.
Okay.
I'll take multiple as well. Also because I like all those guys being left-handed. So, and I like that in Camden Yards. So
Okay.
I'll take the.
Of course, you have Michael Brantley. You're always going to have injury concerns about. Like,
Yeah, he'll play 89 games.
Right, like Jose Quintana. Who knows which version of Jose Quintana you're getting? If you sign him like a year ago, he was pretty good.
He's gonna have Adley Rushman catching for him
I
now.
understand
and Chris
that.
Holt.
I understand that. I just there's enough question mark about which Jose Quintana you're going to get
Right.
that I'm not sure how confident I am about it. More people coming in on Carlos Rodon specifically. Just saying, it's been so long since there's been an ace in Baltimore that just give me that guy. Give me that guy that you can count on that. And so we're getting more of those responses so far. At Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter, Facebook.com/Glenn Clark Radio for you to get your answers in for Would You Rather Wednesday, brought to you by Glory Days Grill. Anything coming up at Drew'sMorningDish.com?
Just, covering soccer and Ravens and we're
Get
rolling.
in
and
for the
Maryland basketball.
Yeah, they're good.
Oh my God!
So,
Well,
I mean, last night Louisville stinks.
oh
I
my
mean,
God!
they're the worst team. In
What
basketball.
on
It's
earth
insane.
has happened to them?
Patrick Stevens said they might not win 5 games all year. Like, they might not win 5 games.
They're horrendous
All year. They're that bad. Anyway, the moral of the story being, I need you to get into the raffle. Get into our Helping Up Mission raffle at Glenn-Clark on Venmo, Glenn Clark 180 on PayPal, or $ Glenn Clark Radio on Cash App. Need $25. You get a raffle spot. You could win autographed Calais Campbell helmet. More importantly, you're helping us help the Helping Up mission, which we need. Got about 15 spots left, so
Come on.
please get that filled ASAP. All right, pal. Appreciate you. Stop
Appreciate
by.
you, boys.
See you next week.
Go USA.
Drew Forrester, Drew'sMorningDish.com. Yeah, we have a small problem. The police are here. You definitely need to get out.
I'm changing this.
Oh, okay, fair.
I'll just
Good. That's what we're doing.
let me
here.
go handle this.
Yeah, right. Today's show brought to you by UMBC basketball. Big game tonight for UMBC. They host Coppin State. Great local matchup at the Peak. You want to check?
Who's that?
It was you. God's sakes. God. Gets really nervous whenever the cops show up. The cops show up and suddenly he's really nervous. Tripping over cords. Dude, do you want us to show you where the back door is? You want us to show you where the side exit is? UMBCRetrievers.com. Get your tickets for tonight against Coppin State, Morgan State on December 10th, or the UMBC women taking on American on December 18th. Again, UMBCRetrievers.com. Get your tickets for these great upcoming games at Chesapeake Employers Insurance Arena. Experience game day at the Peak. It's Glenn Clark Radio.
Have you been to Guilford Hall Brewery? Located in Baltimore's Station North neighborhood, Guilford Hall Brewery breaks the craft brew mold with their great handcrafted microbrews and amazing Bavarian-style food selections. Join Guilford Hall 7 days a week for Orioles, Ravens, and all of your favorite college games. Make plans now to watch the big games, play trivia, or bring your dog for Yappy Hour. They even have free valet service on Friday and Saturday nights. Go to guilfordhall.com for a complete schedule of events, beer listings, and food and drink specials. We'll see you at Guilford Hall Brewery.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
That first sip. That first bite. Start your day off right with a delicious breakfast at Royal Farms. Choose from a fantastic selection of fresh Royal Farms breakfast sandwiches and top it off with a rich hot cup of the freshest coffee in the world. At Royal Farms, breakfast is available day and night. It's the freshest breakfast in the world. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
What's up, everyone? This is Tyus Bowser, and I'm excited to tell you that I'm back for Season 2 of the Tyus Bowser Show in partnership with Pressbox and Great Ace Memorabilia. Join us on Tuesday nights throughout the season as I'll be heading all over town with my special guests. And of course, our co-hosts, Glenn and Rita. Or is it Rita and Glenn? What is it? I look forward to meeting you guys and talking a little bit about football and a lot about life. And if you happen to miss the show, you can now catch a replay Friday nights on 105.7 The Fan. Get all of your details for the Tyus Bowser Show right now at PressBoxOnline.com/Bowser.
The next Tyus Bowser Show is Tuesday, December 13th at the Hamilton Sports Bar and Grill, 5506 Harford Road. It's brought to you by Maryland Vascular Specialists and the all-new Ginsu Kamado Grill.
Sports betting has come to Maryland, and we're ready to help you win some money. Tune in for Simply the Bets every Tuesday morning at 11:40. FanDuel Sportsbook GM Leon Twyman and VSiN's Aaron Oster join the guys every week to give you all of the info you need and offer you a few winners. And every other Thursday at 11:40, tune in for Weekend at Bookies as Andrew Stecca and Alloy Sports' Brad Kronthal help make you some money for the weekend. So come win some money with us on Simply the Bets every Tuesday and Weekend at Bookies every other Thursday. Brought to you by the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. Listen at PressBoxOnline.com/radio. Watch at YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline.
The weather outside is really unpleasant, so it's time to warm up with some comfort classics this winter at your neighborhood Glory Days Grill. Try the Twisted Ribs and Wings combo. It's 2 full pounds of meat, the mac and cheese bites, Mr. Richards meatloaf, the citrus salmon, the winter spinach salad, and for dessert, here's internet radio personality Griffin Bass to tell you about the bourbon butter cake.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Pair it with a blood orange bourbon cider or a devil's backbone cranberry smash. Place your order now at glorydaysgrill.com. Glory Days Grill. Great food, good sports.
Check out Jeremy Kahn's daily picks at PressBoxOnline.com as he tries to find you daily winners. And speaking of winners, here's a man who once won a media curling contest. And I don't think anything else. He's Glenn Clark.
You know, I feel like we've needed to update that rejoiner because I have won something else. I've completed successfully the Baltimore County Police. What is it officially called? Hang on a second. Pull up Corporal Wright before we welcome Officer Young. Corporal Robbie Wright is back with us in the Baltimore County Police Department. What was that officially called? That is the
physical agility test.
Agility test. That's exactly what I was trying to come up with. I aced it. I believe Corporal Wright said I had the strongest performance in the history of the test, is what he said. That I was the most remarkable physical specimen they had ever seen come in to take the Baltimore County Police Department agility test. That's what you said, right?
It was an impressive performance. I would say it was an impressive performance.
Corporal, it's good to see you. You have brought in with you this week Officer Renita Wright. Or Renita, I gave her your...
Yes.
Not Officer Renita Young, of course, is who it is. Officer, it's great to see you. Thank you for coming in and joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
I don't know if you heard, but I wowed everyone. I mean, everybody was...
I heard they were talking about it for weeks. They were like, we got to get that guy, man. Like, that's the most amazing athlete we've ever seen come in here to take the agility test. That's what I was just getting reports back. My guy, Jared Giblin, he was messaging me. He's like, dude, they're still talking about it over here. That was correct, right? That was.
Yep, that was him. Cadet Giblin, yep.
All true. All true. Great to see you guys. And it was great to be out for that last event. But, remarkably, despite the fact that I thought the point of this was to prove to everybody, if I can do this, you can do this. If even an idiot like me is capable of passing the Baltimore County Police Department agility test, you should be able to pass it as well. And we're going to do this again coming up on December 10th, correct? There's going to be another agility test that's going to be given at the Maryland State Fairgrounds. That's correct?
That's correct.
Remind everybody, if you would, Officer Young, I think a lot of people hear this and say, like, well, I'm not a cop. I couldn't be a cop. I couldn't. They're looking for somebody else. They're looking for, who are you guys looking for, actually?
We're looking for anybody and everybody.
I'm going to slide that microphone a little bit closer towards you. You're good.
We are looking for everybody and anybody that wants to serve the community and work for our agency. We have folks that want to be able to come out and make a difference, and that's who we're looking for.
I think it's important that you say that. I know Corporal Wright and I have talked about this a lot. I know the phrase "be the change" has come up a lot in recent years when it comes to discussing the relationship between the community and the police. And, you know, people who say, well, you know, we need to revamp police departments. Oh, come help us. This is your opportunity to come help us revamp the police department, correct?
You're absolutely right. And just getting out there when you're on the job and, you know, not just looking for crime all the time. You want to also be out and be interactive with those kids playing out in the yard, at parks, or just driving through neighborhoods, just saying hi. Is everything okay? How's your day? You know, so we want to put that difference on in the eyes of the citizens and the eyes on people that want to be an officer.
Officer, it's really well said what you just said there, because I feel like that's such an important part of, hey, like, the way that you view the police, we want you to, like, we are a part of the community. Like, we are all kind of in this thing together, right? Like, we're not working against you. We want to work with you, if possible, correct? Like, isn't the concept here?
100%, yes.
And, like, knowing names, knowing, like, this is my area. I get to know you. It's good to see you. You know, I think a lot of people, it's a very cool thing when we see, like, you know, officers playing basketball with the folks in a neighborhood, right? Like, just being a part of that thing, it goes a long way to trying to build up trust between a community and the police.
Yep, you're absolutely right. And Corporal Wright and I had that opportunity to play at the community center in Dundalk.
All right, now who's the better basketball player between the two of you?
I think we tied at the worst.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
But we held our own as officers, and we played.
Oh boy!
I'm gonna say we held our own.
Was it that bad?
We finished the game. We started and finished.
That's, you know what? That says something. That says something.
Just don't ask what the score was.
Were you ever a basketball player, officer?
I was years.
Okay, all right. Where'd you play?
I played in high school, and I played in college for Catonsville Community College.
There you go. So you can. What happened? Wait a second. What happened?
Age happened.
All right, fair enough. These things, I guess those things occur. I guess that's the case. If the two of you played one-on-one today, how would that go?
He would have to stretch for a good 20, 30 minutes.
I would, actually.
Really?
Oh, I would.
Yeah.
Stop it. I'm looking at you right now. Come on, man. You are. Stop.
We need to have the speed advantage on me, too. So.
All right. Fair enough. No, those things go a long way, obviously, into creating that trust with the community and what it is that you guys are doing. So I think that's an important thing. That's what you're looking for, people that want to be a part of that, want to be a part of furthering the relationship between the citizens of Baltimore County and the Baltimore County Police Department.
You're right.
So then what do you need to be able to do? Because, again, I look like me. And I don't know, like, I'm pretty, Corporal Wright said to me, you ready to go December 17th? That's the day, orientation. You ready to show up? Is that it? Like, once I pass that test, is there a written test as well? Take me through all of the steps to somebody listening today saying, I think this might be a path that I want to go into. Give me all of the steps between that and becoming a police officer?
Okay. Well, the first step is reach out to our recruitment department. You can reach out to us by phone. We have a number 410-887-5542. Give us a call. Kind of give us a little background on what you want to do and how you want to serve the community. We will then direct you to creating a profile on our Baltimore County page,
Okay.
which is basically applying. Join Baltimore County Police Department. Once you join, it basically creates a profile that will get you on the list to take a written test. Our OHR department will reach out, give you the upcoming test dates for the written portion. Once you pass that, you get a notification that you passed. We're going to say you passed. And the next
It's
stage,
not a certainty that I would have passed that part. I want to make that abundantly clear. I nailed the agility. It's not a certainty. I don't know exactly what the questions are, but I hope there's no math. I was to understand that not a strong suit for your boy.
you would be able to pass it.
All right.
No
All
doubt.
right.
Once you complete that portion, you then reach out to our recruitment section. We will then schedule you for an agility test, the test that you took.
Again,
at our
if you need help
event.
studying for that one. Still
there
over
are
here killing
different things you have to take for the test. You have to do a 1.5 mile run.
Yep.
If it's for a female.
By the way, big shout out to Corporal Wright, who said to me, "No problem, you just got to run a mile in 13 minutes." I was like, "Dude, I got that."
Oh yeah, I apologize.
Yeah, you got a mile. Come on, man. I show up that morning, and it wasn't Corporal Wright. It was somebody else I was chatting with. He was like, "Yeah, and you got to run a 1.5 miles." I was like, "Whoa, whoa." I was ready to walk it. I was like, 1 mile in 13 minutes. I don't even have to jog. Like, I can walk 1 mile in 13 minutes. All of a sudden, 1.5 mile talk came out. I'm like, I gotta break a sweat. I don't love that.
Well, that's part of it. You're gonna experience that during the academy. You're gonna be running and.
It is important. It's really funny you said that because we joked about anybody can do it, and I did actually have somebody reach out to me and like, I'm not really sure I just want anybody doing it. I kind of want people to be. It's not that simple. The joke is that like if I can do it, you can do it. That's what I'm trying to tell everybody. But we obviously you are going to need to be able to do at least some physical things in order to handle the job. So there is a reason why this is important that you can pass the agility test.
That's correct. And we're gonna also include a series of sit-ups and push-ups during that agility test. And I think a lot of people come into it with nerves. They're just nervous. They may be runners and they may be strong and in shape like right here, but they just come in with nerves and it kind of gets in their head. And we're out there to cheer them on and tell them they can do it and just focus on their goal.
I did appreciate that, particularly during the run. During the run portion of it, everybody was gathered around like, come on, man, you got this. And all I had to say back was, I know, I got this.
Well, and that's the big part, just to piggyback off of that, that's the big part of what we try to do with things like the agility
Corporal,
testing.
can you move that microphone a little bit closer to you?
There we go.
Yep.
And that's the one thing we try to do with our steps in the process, not just the agility testing, but then when you go from the agility testing, you go into the background investigation, you go into the polygraph, and then you have medical examination and the steps after that.
Can you give me an example of a question on the polygraph to see how I might handle it?
So unfortunately, I can't.
Oh, okay, all right. Hey, fair enough.
But what I will say,
you're not going to ask me what I was doing when I was 16 years old underneath the bleachers at Perry Hall High School, correct? Like that's not going to come up on the polygraph?
Only because that is very specific. But
all right, good. And we're good here. We're good. Nothing to worry about.
But just to make the point, throughout the process, what we want to do is instead of it being just a distant thing where you're applying for a job and everybody who is evaluating you, everyone who is overseeing your steps in the process are these distant sort of figures who are, you almost kind of feel this sense of judgment. We understand you're taking the time to be part of our agency, so we want to encourage you. If you're going to take our agility test, we want you to pass.
Yep.
You're taking the background, we want you to pass the background. If you go take the psychological, if you go take the polygraph, whatever steps are after that, we want you to pass that because obviously, yes, like any other law enforcement agency, we have a manpower shortage. But if you're taking the time to be part of our process, then we want you to be on the job.
It's interesting you bring that up. And officer, if someone comes out on the 10th and they do struggle with some part of the agility test, that doesn't mean like you're done. That doesn't mean you can never be an officer. It means correct, you could go back, work on it, try to, maybe doing a little more push-ups or something like that, and you can come back for the next one, correct, and try to pass it then, right?
Right. Just reach back out to us. Let us know when you're ready. Let your body recover and maybe get a little bit more gym time in or on the track to get you more prepared. And now you know what to expect.
Yep.
So when you come back, you're like, all right, I know what I got to do now. All the nerves and butterflies are done. This is what I'm going to do, and go out and just. Some people don't pass it the first time.
There were people that were there the same morning that I was there that I was just having some small talk with, and they were telling me look, this was just sort of for me a practice, right? I wanted to come out and do it and see if I could do it, and I'm not really worried about it all that much because I'm not ready yet to make the commitment. I wanted to see if I could handle it, and now I know what to expect, and I think I'm going to be ready to do it when I'm ready to make that commitment. So it's also important to say if you come out on December 10th, I did this. I have not been forced to become a police officer yet. Now, Corporal's been a little pushy. He's been a little he's not been at all. That's a joke. He has not been pushy whatsoever. That's this is the way it works. Come out, find out, see where you're at, and if you pass, it doesn't mean that you've committed the next 20 years of your life to something. It can continue the opportunity for you if this is the direction for you, correct?
That's correct. And also, if you came out and you did the practice test, we're going to accept that. So when you call us and say, hey, you want to take the written, you've already done.
I don't have to worry about so I can just pig out on cookies for the rest of December now if I want to. I can just sit back on Christmas Day and eat the entire goose. I'm fine.
Yeah, you don't have to repeat that test again if you apply.
By the way, and I mean this, after doing it, I am confident I could do it any day of the week. It's not after doing it. I was a little bit nervous about the push-ups because I'm not a push-up guy. I told Corporal, the crunch, I do 100 crunches every morning. I'm fine there. I had no problem with that. And the last time I had ran, I was pacing at 8.5-minute miles. So I was confident that I was going to be fine. And the push-ups, I was a little bit nervous about. And I thought they were kind of cheating for me. I was like, "Are these actually legit?" And he was like, "No, dude, you're good."
No, they were legitimate. Your chest hit the block. They were legitimate. Those were legitimate.
All right, then I got this. So I'm confident at this point that I could do it any day of the week. In fact, it might become an annual thing for me, for me to come out and do it just as a reminder of what. Look, I don't think I've talked about this. I'm 4 or 5 years away from not being in good shape. 4 or 5 years ago, I was not in good shape. So for me, it's about trying to stay in good shape. And so as I told you guys, I had no problem coming out and do it. It was fun for me to come out, get a little extra workout in, and I feel like I had accomplished something at the end of the day.
And the one thing I would say, I really appreciate you coming out. That was great for you to come out. And just with our hiring events when we do them, it's not just about, of course, we want to hire, but also it's about bringing together different parts of the community that is usually not brought together under something the police department does, right?
Sure.
It's a positive setting. And kind of touching on that, for December 10th, we are also doing a food and toy drive with this hiring event.
Awesome.
It's the second year we've done this. Last year we did it, and we did it at the Randallstown Community Center. This year, of course, at the State Fair. However, with this event, we are collecting food and toy items for two local organizations. One is going to be the Children's Home in Catonsville.
Wonderful.
Second one is going to be St. Vincent's Villa in Timonium.
Love St. Vincent's.
We have boxes all throughout Baltimore County. If people want to donate, I've created a link tree for our Instagram page where people can click.
Remind people what the Instagram is, where they can find you.
So it's going to be Baltimore County Police Recruitment. It should be, I believe the address off the top of my head should be Baltco PD, but just type in Baltimore County Police Recruitment.
Okay.
And on our bio, they can click the link tree. There they'll see a list of all the items that both organizations are looking for. They'll see the locations of the drop boxes, which are at all 10 police precincts. On top of that, a couple other locations as well. So as with the October event, even if you're like, I don't want to be a police officer, but I want to be involved with the community, hey, we have an opportunity to do that again with the food and toy drive.
That's awesome. That is awesome. That's wonderful stuff. Officer, what else would you want people to know? What else would you want people to know about the 10th, about if they're even thinking about it? If they're like, yeah, I want to do this, but I don't know, I'm putting myself in some danger. I don't know if it's the right thing for me. What would you want people to know about becoming a Baltimore County police officer?
Well, if they come out that day, they'll be able to actually speak with actual recruiters, speak with background investigators. So if they're a little concerned about maybe things that may show up or may not show up on their background, they can maybe have a conversation with them in person. Also, specialized units. A lot of people say, oh, I want to work with K-9, or I want to work with the Marine unit, I'd like to be on boats, or TAC or aviation. Some of our specialized units will be there, so they can actually see some of the equipment that they have and actually interact with our detectives and specialized units. So that if they want to say, well, not really sure if I want to do this, they can say, how are you feeling the job? How do you like it? How long did it take you to get to this point? So they can ask those questions directly to those background investigators.
It's wonderful.
Specialized
and what time on the 10th?
Starts at 10. Actually, no. Is it 10?
2.
Oh, I'm sorry. 2 to 6.
2 to 6. 2 to 6, December 10th at the Maryland State Fairgrounds.
Yes.
It's the place to be. You can take your agility test that day. You can just stop by with toys, donate with food, non-perishable food items to donate.
Correct.
And maybe just find out a little bit more. Perhaps I speak to people a lot of time who have kids that they're out of college or out of high school, and they kind of don't have a lot of direction at the moment. Maybe they're not ready to do something, but just maybe that day you'd suggest, hey, why don't we go out to lunch, and then, and on the way back, stop by, right?
Yes, definitely.
Stop by just for a conversation, see where that goes.
Right. Exactly, and it's open to the public. There's no pre-registration. There's no charge. Just come out. So, like you said, if you're grabbing lunch across the street and you're like, hey, what's going on over here? Come and check us out.
Right, just lay the foundation. That's all. Lay the foundation, and, maybe it doesn't work out, but what is it going to hurt? What is it going to hurt in order to have that conversation?
Right. And we've reached out to schools as well. Just so you know, we've made contact with even the middle school students, just kind of giving them a direction because we have our cadet program. And then the high schoolers, we've sent our flyers to the high schools. They are putting it up on their page. They're handing it out during their advisory periods, during their college and career classes that they might have. And we've also done school visits as well. So we are pushing that out and letting them know where we're going to be in case those kids are kind of on the fence of what they want to do.
That's cool. A question from, this is from Schmlen Schmark. He wants to know if you were involved in something maybe once upon a time that wasn't fully legal then but is now. Would that discredit you from becoming a police officer?
So this is what I would say is this, and we get those type of questions all the time. And you said it was from
Schwen Schmark. Yeah.
Okay,
Schwen. All Schwen. Yes.
Schwen Schmark.
Yes.
So the way I would answer that question is that
again, you said hypothetically.
Hypothetically.
Right. Hypothetically.
The one thing I would say is we take it by case basis. So obviously, such things that if you've been convicted of a felony, that is a automatic disqualification.
Probably not going to work. Yeah.
But
Schwen said definitely not that.
Okay.
Wanted to make it very clear, not that.
But we take it by case basis. Obviously, a lot of what we do is governed by the training commission within the state of Maryland, also through our policy and procedures in our department. Yep. However, what I always tell people is do apply, because what you might think is the worst thing you ever done, it's something like, okay, well, that's something we can talk to you about.
And by the way, the police already know.
Right, exactly.
Make that very clear. You're not admitting to something that they don't already know.
Exactly, or that we're going to find out later regardless.
Yeah, exactly.
But I always tell people, instead of, oh my goodness, like, is this little or this thing, is this going to get qualified? Well, apply and come and talk to us about it, right? And we'll go from there. I'm not going to say, yeah, you'll get a job, definitely. But also, we understand that, especially with today's world, there are things in people's background where people get nervous about. But I tell people, look, just apply, see what happens, right? Just come and talk to us. See what happens, right? Obviously, once again, the
Schwen. Again, this is hypothetically for Schwen.
Yes.
Nobody else, just Schwen wanting to know.
So Schwen, look, obviously, not that you're Schwen, but
no,
Schwen was here.
Correct, exactly right.
But, I always just encourage people, just apply. Just apply, come and talk to us, and we'll go from there. And it's once
the
again,
times have changed a little bit. There are things that are now legal that weren't necessarily years ago. A few things now. But sports betting, not something that we were allowed to do just a couple of years ago.
Right, and not even just so much that, but it goes back to my point of, with the agility testing, that we're not looking for people to apply just to then turn around and just say, you're disqualified.
Right, you want to work with
that
them.
is
correct.
counterproductive.
Yep.
So at no point would I tell somebody, yeah, apply just so I can set you up for failure. We're trying to set you up for success.
Yep.
That's the point.
No
if
doubt.
we didn't want to set you up for success, then we're in the wrong business.
Awesome. Officer Renita Young, Corporal Robbie Wright. Again, December 10th, Maryland State Fairgrounds. And find out more, join BaltimoreCountyPD.com, correct?
So to find out more, people can reach us on our socials, on Baltimore County Recruitment on Instagram and also on Facebook. If they want to apply, join BaltimoreCountyPD.com to apply.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for stopping and hanging out with us. Who knows? One of these days I might say today's the day. Like when John Colson walks in and says, sorry, it's over, I might be like, well, I got good news. I got a backup plan.
Well, you already took the first step.
I'm on my way. I'm on my way. Happy holidays. Thank you all for coming in and hanging out with us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
We will come back in Tidbit, Tubular, and segment number 1 of the Tyus Bowser Show with Marcus Williams. That's on the way. Glenn Clark Radio. Looking for a simple holiday meal? Try Chick-fil-A Catering. From Chick-fil-A nuggets to mac and cheese, enjoy a variety of tray options sized perfectly for your get-together. Order through the Chick-fil-A app and bring smiles to your family gathering. Availability and order requirements vary. See restaurant for details.
UMBC basketball is back at Chesapeake Employers Insurance Arena, and tickets are available now at umbcretrievers.com. Don't miss any of the great early season matchups as the men take on local rivals Coppin State on November 30th and Morgan State on December 10th, while the women square off with American on December 18th. Experience the excitement of game day at the Peak by getting your tickets right now to come see the Retrievers at Chesapeake Employers Insurance Arena. Lock yours in at umbcretrievers.com.
Come experience Maryland's #1 sportsbook this NFL season at the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel, the ultimate place for any sports enthusiast. Take advantage of our 24/7 kiosks, massive video screens, and watch all the action from the best seat in the house. With more money paid out than anyone around, make every moment more at the new FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel in Hanover, Maryland. Please play responsibly. Gambling problem? Please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit mdgamblinghelp.org.
The Baltimore County Police Department is hiring. Entry-level officers start at close to $59,000 a year with a $10,000 bonus. Some restrictions apply. Plus a great retirement plan, medical, dental, and vision insurance, advancement to specialized units, tuition reimbursement, 15 sick days earned per calendar year, and even further incentives for military members and veterans. If you have a passion for service and want a career for life, visit joinbaltimorecountypd.com or call 410-887-5542. You must be a United States citizen, possess a valid driver's license, and have a high school diploma or GED equivalent. The Baltimore County Police Department is an equal opportunity employer.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now. On the cover, New Maryland basketball coach Kevin Willard sits down with Stan Charles and Glenn Clark to discuss the situation he inherited in College Park and how he plans to get the program turned around. Also, inside, we introduce you to men's and women's college basketball players from all of the teams in the area. And Bo Smoka profiles Ravens receiver Devin Duvernay. Press Box is available for free at over 500 area locations, including 60 Royal Farm stores, and you can always find the entire edition as well as the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps at PressBoxOnline.com.
Experience the best in Kamado Grilling, a complete outdoor cooking appliance. The Ginsu Kamado Grill allows anyone to sear, grill, bake, and smoke all types of food. Designed for efficiency and function, the Ginsu Kamado Grill upholds the enduring legacy of the iconic Ginsu brand. The Ginsu Kamado Grill is perfect to cook all year round, is great for parties, and ideal for tailgating with your friends. Reserve your Ginsu Kamado Grill today at ginsugrills.com and get $100 off on your pre-order when you use the promo code TAILGATE. That's ginsugrills.com. Reserve yours today.
Join Glenn at halftime of every Ravens game for the Project Game Day halftime show at facebook.com/PressBoxSports. We apologize in advance. There's not much we can do about his face.
All right, we continue along here on a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of the program. Brought to you by Glory Days Grill. Continue to get me your responses for Would You Rather Wednesday at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter, facebook.com/Glenn Clark Radio. And we will get you registered to win a $25 gift card to Glory Days Grill.
I like John and Little Rock's response
Yes.
to his solution is just do it in the dark for the first question, so that no one can see anything. No one can see
You don't
anything.
have to worry about it at that point. Look, a lot of the scars or chick stick scars, getting a lot of responses like that, and like glory lasts forever. I still don't know, man. Like, that's gonna be tough. That's a very specific. Like, you got a scar on your arm or something like that. Like, by the way, you know what's crazy to me? I don't know if I burnt my hand on Thanksgiving. I don't know if anybody can see that. So,
okay.
I
thought it was a mole for a second. I was like, how have I never noticed
it's
that?
It's crazy to me because I don't notice any of these things from anybody else, right? Like, last night we did the Tyus show, and I swear to God, everybody was like, dude, what happened to your hand? I'm like, that's crazy to me, right?
I think I noticed it yesterday, and I definitely thought it was like a mole, and I was like, how did I not notice that Glenn had a mole in his hand?
So it's just plumb laziness. I'm taking the turkey out of the oven on Thanksgiving. I had been up since whatever time because I had done the morning show on the radio station, and I end up it's laziness. I didn't grab the oven mitt. That's all it is. Like, I just got to get the stupid turkey out. I'll just get it out. And I literally, against the side of the oven, went in to get the turkey, hand against the side of the oven. Ah, God, right? Like, had that moment. It's not the end of the world, right? It's not that bad. Like, this part of it'll heal, whatever. It's fine. It's not a big deal. But if it was this, right? Like, if that was what you came away with, if you scored a goal at the World Cup and you had this for the rest of your life, you'd proudly say, dude, let me tell you a story about this.
I scored that.
Exactly right. Like, it would be the greatest story of your life.
You want to see what happened when I scored that goal?
That. And a lot of people were like, well, I'm a married man. If you were participating in the World Cup, you would not be 50. Like, if you're participating in the World Cup, you'd be in your prime. Hey, not so great. Not so great to have that to deal with for the rest of your life. But continue to get me your responses. Today's show is also brought to you by Guilford Hall Brewery. Love Guilford Hall, 1611 Guilford Avenue in Station North. My God, it's just such a cool place. Incredible food, the Bavarian-inspired menu, as well as the great craft beer selection, including the Guilford Hall Lager. I love Guilford Hall Brewery. I genuinely love that place. Yappy hour, live music, bar trivia during the week. It is a gem in our city. GuilfordHall.com to find out more. Let's get a tidbit. Tidbit is brought to you by the print issue of Pressbox, which is available right now at your neighborhood Royal Farms and in the hundreds of locations around town where you find Pressbox. You can read it all. PressBoxOnline.com. Pretty good time for Kevin Willard to be on the cover of Pressbox, considering how things have been going.
That was a good call.
Yeah, worked out all right. Who saw that? I mean, again, we didn't know how bad Louisville was going to be. Look, I try not to get carried away by this. Like, Maryland's going to lose some basketball games this year. They're not going to finish undefeated. They might lose on Friday night. I would predict them to lose on Friday night. I still think that what you've seen early on is a very good thing, and it bodes well for the direction of Maryland basketball under Kevin Willard. Read more about him and a lengthy Q&A that Stan the Fan and I had with Kevin Willard in this print issue of Pressbox. You can always read it at PressBoxOnline.com.
All right, so this was a funny stat I saw yesterday. Obviously, Jose Abreu's just signed with the Astros. They're reloading after winning the World Series. But this was someone very nitpicky stat. There are 2 American League players in the history of baseball to have 150-plus home runs, 200 or more doubles, and 10-plus triples between the ages of 30 and 35.
Say that one more time.
150 home runs, 200 doubles, 10 triples.
150 home runs. All right, whatever. Just keep going.
Between the ages of 30 and 35.
Oh, that's
there
so
are 2
specific.
Players. Yes. So Jose Abreu is one of them.
Is it Nelson Cruz?
It is not Nelson Cruz. It is very old. Lou Gehrig.
Oh, okay.
So
right.
Lou Gehrig.
I've heard good things.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Lou Gehrig and Abreu, the only 2 to accomplish 150 home runs, 200 doubles, 10 triples between the ages of 30 and 35.
Proctor, it's not Derek Jeter. I'm sorry, Proctor. Proctor actually had a really good response, by the way, for Would You Rather Wednesday. He said, "Oh God, the cops are still here." Proctor said, "Go for the scar, then you can get an eye patch and name it Snake Plissken for style point."
Okay. Also, Justin Herbert picked up his 88th career passing touchdown over the weekend. That moves him into second for most passing touchdowns in a quarterback's first 3 seasons. So I'd like to see you round out the top 10 for me. So Herbert is number 2, 88 career passing touchdowns in his first 3 seasons. Who are the rest? So 9 others in the top 10 most passing touchdowns.
First 3 seasons.
Yes.
Again, the problem, it's like we did this early in the week. You gotta specifically talk about guys who played in their first 3 seasons. So I'll still say Kurt Warner here.
Kurt Warner is not in the top 10.
That's very surprising. Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning is on that list. 85. He is 4th.
How about Hauser's bouts? Pat Mahomes didn't play his rookie year, but Pat Mahomes anyway.
It would be Pat Mahomes.
Yeah,
he had 76.
Right.
I guess he had that 55.
Yeah.
So he is 7th.
Josh Allen.
He is 8th, actually. Josh Allen is not on the list.
That's a little surprising.
He is 19th.
That seems surprising.
67 touchdowns.
Oh, he stinks. What a bum. What a bum. Proctor wants to throw in Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson is a close guess. There's a lot of concentration in that 70.
Too many, if it was total touchdowns,
it probably would be. But he had 67. Or 68. He is 1 ahead of Josh Allen.
Andrew Luck.
Andrew Luck is the guy that Justin Herbert passed on Sunday. He is 3rd and had 86.
How about Marino?
Marino, number 1, 98. That is who Herbert is chasing down.
Oh, Dan Marino.
98. Herbert is 10 behind him.
Yeah, but it still doesn't absolve him of some of the things he did in Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. Still kind of an issue for him.
What did he do in that?
I'm sorry about that when you get older.
Don't need to add that to the list. I should have seen that.
Russ?
Russ is just outside of the top 10. He is 11th with 72.
There's no way that Joe Burrow's gotten there, is there?
There is no way that Joe Burrow's gotten there. He is also just on the outside, 70.
I don't know, man.
Is this his 3rd season? No.
It is, yes.
Okay, so he will probably be joining this list later.
Oh, he got hurt his first year. I keep forgetting about that. Joe Burrow got hurt. Yeah, all right, never mind. That was a bad guess. Dante Culpepper.
He's right outside. He will be on the list by the end of the year. Not Culpepper. Culpepper not on there. They're more. They're very modern. Most are pretty modern.
Very modern. Oh, that's not a bad guess. Proctor says Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan is a good guess, but he is not in the top 10. He is right outside the top 20 with 66.
All right, we got to move along.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's see.
How many more am I missing?
We have 2 more active. You're missing.
Active.
I believe you're missing 5.
More active?
Yes, 2 more active. One that retired.
Aaron Rodgers didn't play. It's not Aaron Rodgers.
3 more active, actually.
Jesus Christ.
You have 5 that we're looking for. One that
Stafford?
Not Stafford.
Brady. No, I don't think Brady threw that many touchdowns.
Not Brady. A guy that retired in 2009, and then a guy that I think retired in the last. It was within the last 5 years that retired.
Cousins.
Not Kirk Cousins.
Goff.
Not Goff.
Tanner Hills.
Tannehill not in the top 10. Decently high.
Jamison.
Nope, not Jameis.
Deshaun Watson. That's a good guess, Proctor.
Deshaun Watson just outside of the top 10, 71.
Derek Carr.
Derek Carr is number 5. He has 80. Had 81 in his first 3 seasons, right behind Peyton Manning. So you're missing number 6, number 7, number 9, and 10.
Joe Flacco.
Not Joe Flacco. Let's see.
Active quarterback.
They're both in the NFC South right now.
Both in the NFC.
Not where they started.
Oh, Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton is right behind Derek Carr with 80.
And Baker
Mayfield, 75.
Worthless list.
He is 1 behind Pat Mahomes.
Very worthless list.
Yes. The other 2 that are retired, you just give them to you.
Sure.
Carson Palmer at 78.
I normally guess Carson Palmer for these things.
And then Jeff Garcia at 74 with the
Jeff
Niners.
Garcia. Okay, all right. Jeff Garcia was a pretty good quarterback, actually. He was a pretty good quarterback. All right, very good. Thank you very much. Tubular is brought to you by the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel. Maryland, the best place to watch and bet on every sporting event. Of course, Saturday morning you'll be able to watch and bet on the USA-Netherlands match, and then stick around right afterwards for the Tyson Fury fight. You'll be able to watch that in the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. Reserve for free, even if you don't have ESPN+. Reserve your spot by emailing events@sportssocialmd.com. Here's what's coming up totally tubular-wise. College hoops, a few local teams in action tonight. ESPN+, actually right now, Navy taking on Lipscomb. I don't know why they're playing at noon on a Wednesday. Weird.
At Lipscomb, too.
That's neat. I think I'm in favor of it for what it's worth. I think we should have more Wednesday noon matchups.
More standalone.
I guess it might be a field trip day. That's a popular thing that some smaller colleges do when schools are in session. They try to make it a field trip thing.
Where is Lipscomb?
It's south of here.
Yeah.
But I don't know Lipscomb is in. Oh God, I used to know this.
Oh, okay, that makes
where
it's in Tennessee, Nashville.
Tennessee, I did know. Oh, of course I knew that because Belmont and Lipscomb have a huge rivalry. Well, I'm an idiot. What am I doing? Yes, Lipscomb, of course, is in Lipscomb. I did know that. Tension, of course, is the
tension
word
between the two.
Loyola's at Binghamton tonight at 6, and then Coppin UMBC, of course, at 7. Great local matchup, UMBCretrievers.com. All of the ESPN networks will air Jimmy V's legendary Don't Give Up speech tonight at 7. Of course, they're doing Jimmy V week on all the ESPN networks. That comes up, by the way, in the Tyus Bowser Show with Marcus Williams, because Marcus Williams has previously worked for the Jimmy V Foundation. So you'll not in segment 1. You won't hear it now, but later in the show. ACC Big Ten Challenge continues tonight on ESPN. Ohio State Duke at 7:15. Carolina, Indiana. That's obviously a very good one at 9:15. ESPN2, Purdue, Florida State at 7:15. Michigan State, Notre Dame at 9:15. ESPNU, Rutgers, Miami at 7:15. Boston College, Nebraska at 9:15. World Cup, we have finals?
So Australia and France are through.
Okay.
Tunisia scored, and they looked like they were going to get a win, but it wasn't going to matter because they needed a Denmark draw.
Okay.
But then France scored and tied it in the 98th minute.
Wow. Okay, so 1-1 was the final there.
Yes, 1-1 was the final of that, and France won the group, and then Australia beat Denmark straight up, so they're through.
They are through. Later this afternoon, Poland, Argentina at 2 on Fox, and Saudi Arabia, Mexico at 2 as well. All the other college hoops you can find at GlennClarkRadio.com. Wizards Nets, 7:30 on NBC Sports Washington. NBA TV, Heat Celtics, 7:30. Blazers Lakers at 10:30. Mavs Warriors was really good last night, by the way. That was a hell of a game. TNT Sabres Red Wings at 7. Oilers Blackhawks at 9:30. TBS for AEW Dynamite at 8. Some non-sports highlights.
Just a couple. Your boy David Harbour will be on Kimmel for Violent Night,
baby.
Yeah. The 90th annual Christmas tree lighting at the Rockefeller Center. That is at 9 o'clock on NBC.
Is Mariah Carey going to lip sync through that one as well? Or
you got to tune in to find out. I don't know.
I don't know why they wait so long to do that, by the way. Like my mother-in-law was talking to me about.
It's after Thanksgiving. It's like the week after Thanksgiving.
It's a week after Thanksgiving.
It should be the next day.
I feel like people that go up.
You want it November 1st.
Well, I would prefer that, but I see like if you're going up, maybe the night before Thanksgiving. If you're going up for the parade, I feel like you should be able to see the tree.
Yeah.
We were talking about taking the kids up for the parade one year. Like maybe one year we do the parade because
that makes sense.
It's it's just sort of part of Americana. By the way, if you hate parades, I mean, I'm so sick of Twitter. Just get out. I hate everybody. I really do. I'm at the point where, like, Thanksgiving food's not even all that good. Go screw. It's the greatest American day that exists. I hate you. You so badly need attention. I'm so sorry that somebody didn't love you enough. I'm terribly sorry. Greatest American day we have. We were talking about that, but then we were like, but they wouldn't be able to see like
the tree.
Like the tree's there apparently. Like it's not
just naked.
Yes, like. It would kind of stink, and you wouldn't want to stay up there for a week.
Right.
That wouldn't be an option. So why wouldn't they light the tree like the night before Thanksgiving? Maybe wouldn't that make more sense?
That does make sense. That actually does make.
I don't get it at all.
Or at least on Friday. And,
something that allows you the opportunity to see the tree if you come up for the parade. Anyway, whatever.
Dolly Parton will be on Fallon. She's got like some weird
thing
Christmas musical.
If it's Dolly Parton, it's not weird, Griffin.
Okay, sorry.
She's speaking
of
Americana.
Very interesting and good.
Yeah, there's nothing more important than Dolly Parton.
I believe it comes out tomorrow night. The Masked Singer 2-hour season 8 finale.
Okay, I said highlights.
Shaq, part 2 of that 4-part documentary.
I heard that wasn't
HBO.
very good.
It was kind of definitely.
And I love Shaq. Like I love Shaq.
Hard Knocks. In season with the Cardinals. Then Willow, the series premiere of that on Disney Plus with Warwick Davis, which looks very well done. I don't really know anything about Willow.
You never saw it?
No, I never.
God, never seen anything.
Sorry.
Never seen anything. All right. Cool. Thank you, Griffin. Today's show, or just a reminder, FanDuel, DraftKings, BetMGM, all of them are offering you amazing sign-up incentives. But you got to go to PressBoxOnline.com/offers to see them, and we get a little kickback for it. It's a win-win for everybody involved. You get free bets. You get free money to bet with. We get a little bit back when you make your deposit. It's good for us. It's good for you. Again, PressBoxOnline.com/offers is where you need to go. Thanks today to the folks in the Baltimore County Police Department. Thanks to Drew Forrester. Thanks to Bernard Pollard. Thanks as well to Gus Johnson. We'll get it all up in the greatest hits section of the tab at GlennClarkRadio.com. Anything?
Stuff and things. Definitely working on several things.
Okay. Good.
Picks with Ken Zales.
Yep, we'll do that. Stuff and things tomorrow on the program.
Part 2 of the Tyus Bowser Show.
Thanks to everybody at PressBox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including the Baltimore County Police Department, Problem Gambling, Glory Days Grill, Royal Farms, Costas Inn, the Baltimore area Chick-fil-A restaurants, Guilford Hall Brewery, Grade 8's Memorabilia, the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland, Maryland Vascular Specialist, the all-new Ginsu Kamado Grill, UMBC Athletics, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. Get in. Please get your $25 donation in for the raffle. Let us fill that up. Glenn-Clark on Venmo. Glenn Clark 180 on PayPal, $ Glenn Clark Radio on Cash App. Have a great Wednesday evening. Go Navy, Loyola, Morgan, and Coppin. Duke sucks. Ohio State sucks too. We wrap up today's show with segment number 1 of the Tyus Bowser Show from last night at Mother's Peninsula Grill in Arnold. Welcome out to the Tyus Bowser Show with PressBox and 105.7 The Fan. We are live at Mother's Peninsula Grill in Arnold. I am Glenn Clark. She is the NFL chick, Sarita Hubbard. It's a heck of a drive down here, but happy to be here with everybody. Great crowd. Tonight's show is brought to you by Maryland Vascular Specialists. Their team of surgeons is Maryland's leaders in ethical arterial procedures, and by the Ginsu Kamado Grill. Reserve your Ginsu Kamado Grill, the perfect ceramic tailgate or home grill for searing, grilling, baking, and smoking all kinds of food. Get $100 off your pre-order by using the promo code TAILGATES. You guys, of course, are not here for me, maybe for Rita, but more likely for the host of our show. Would you please make some noise for the man himself, Mr. Tyus Bowser? Good to see you, buddy.
Appreciate you, man. Good to see you, too.
We got to, look, we're going to introduce your guest in a second, but can we just deal with it?
We seem to always have to deal with it.
Can we just rip the Band-Aid off?
Every time.
Can we just
How many times have we done this after a loss?
Oh, wait, what are you guys talking about? I meant Black Panther. Did you see it?
Oh, we can talk about Black Panther. I prefer that.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
Yeah.
I did see it. I actually did see it. I told you I would.
Good news. I did too. How'd you feel?
I felt good. I felt good about it. I thought it was a good movie. I felt like, I don't know, it was just different.
It's heavy, man.
It is heavy. It's very heavy. And just the storyline and how just everything went with Chadwick, with the passing of him, I felt like they had to kind of readjust things like that. So, but for the most part, I thought it was good. I thought they did a good job on it.
Obviously, we're not going to do spoilers, but I thought it was crazy that they made Lil Baby the new Black Panther. Like, that was nuts, man. I couldn't believe it.
Did you just, what?
It's a joke. I made it.
Hey, he almost had me too. I was like, Lil Baby. I said, what?
So did either of you cry? Did either of you?
Did I cry? No, I ain't.
Oh, you ain't have to say it like that. You had to cry too.
What part are you crying on?
I teared up at the beginning, the middle, and then the tear did fall out at the end.
The mid-credit scene, y'all, we won't ruin it, but the mid-credit scene, which really to me is almost the biggest scene of the movie, right?
The beginning? That's the
the last.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's
right?
when the tear came out.
Yeah, that's
all
pretty.
Right, at this point, y'all we just gotta end it. We get it. Y'all not telling the movie and nobody's listening. Next.
All I can say, it was a good movie, man.
No, it was a great movie. You tripping. It wasn't good. It was great.
All right. Whatever you say, man.
You don't watch movies like that.
Well, yeah.
Okay, we should probably introduce you.
I was going to do that too, man.
Yeah,
the voice that you're hearing right now is my guy out of Utah. University of Utah.
Sir.
Our newest addition from the New Orleans Saints, man. This guy's been a baller since he stepped on the field. Love this guy, man. Marcus Williams.
There you go. Marcus Williams, ladies and gentlemen. Marcus, were you like in a hurry to go see Black Panther when it came out? Were you?
I seen it first day.
Yeah.
I was there. All the people in there watching the movie. First of all, it was loud. They were loud, and I couldn't even watch it. There's a guy behind me like, "Bring the Avengers!" Like, bro, this is Black Panther. Bro, relax, just chill out. But nah, I was in a rush to see it. I see movies opening night every single time. So,
Is that a regular thing? Like you go like any movie, or is it just like?
I'm a big Marvel fan.
Okay.
So anytime that comes out, I'm gonna go see it opening night.
So like when the new Ant-Man movie comes out,
I'm seeing it opening night.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah,
like, I feel like we all like you have to be able to. This is the thing we were talking about last time. You got to be able to talk about it with everybody. Everybody else is gonna go see it. You got to be able to talk about it and know what you're talking about, right?
Right. But a lot of people don't even go see it until weeks after, and you can't. And then there's people who spoil it, and then you're like, so you got to stay off of the Instagrams, Twitters, because somebody gonna spoil it.
I mean, even when I seen the movie, a few weeks ago, I mean, it was still hard to even get tickets because they were all getting sold out. So it was still a lot of people who haven't seen it. So I mean, it's still fairly, in a way, new.
You just took too long to go. I seen it. I sat right in between. I went by myself, sat right in between some people.
So what about if you want to bring somebody else with you and all they have is one?
Fast. You got to get in. It say pre-order tickets. That's what
right.
you got to do.
Fandango. You just got to go through one of those mobile apps. You got to go through the app. Order it.
That's too much. I just want to go. I want to look up Black Panther on my phone. Look at all of the different theaters that you can go to. Click a time.
Then you don't want to see the movie that bad.
And be good.
If you don't want to see it that bad,
we had this conversation.
Just wait until everybody go see it, then you go.
I just don't want to have to deal with the stuff that you was dealing with people talking
Twitter.
And all this.
It's okay.
Stuff.
They still gonna talk when you go.
I think you deserve it at some point. If you wait a few weeks, you deserve to have things spoiled for you. You didn't try hard.
Exactly.
That's the way I feel. You didn't try hard enough to see the movie.
You still can't spoil it. You just gotta let it ride for like a good 3 weeks.
But I think I do a good job not having to deal with people outside spoiling it, because I don't really be on social media too much to be like, oh shoot, I seen some about Black Panther, and if I do, I just cut it off.
Yeah.
So really, I'm not even losing anything. I'm not missing out on anything till I actually watch it.
Yeah, that's not bad. You just can't talk about it with anybody. Hey, did you see the Black Panther? Oh, man.
See, I'm good with that though. I'm good.
I can't even talk to you. Somebody talking about it. And little do we know, Spider-Man.
That's all you got to do is this. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, it's not that easy, bro. It is not that easy.
Maybe for you, but for me it is.
All right, so now we got to talk about the other thing. Now we got to do that.
I don't even want to talk about it. I want to talk about the fact that every time, minus one time that we've done this show, it has been after a loss. I want to have good energy.
I want to have some good energy.
Well, you just brought bad energy by saying that. God dang, can we move past it? It was last week. Like, let's talk about this week.
I'm just saying, I want us to come in and be like, so that was such a great game, and it was awesome, and, but we just...
You smiling today, that's all that matters.
You're right.
And we in a good mood right now. I'm in a good mood, you know what I'm saying?
All right, tell me two things. Every time one of these games happens, the word is we got to go back and watch the film, right? We hear that a lot.
Yeah.
I'm wanting to know, what do you see when you guys go back and watch that maybe teaches you something about what happened that you didn't already know? Or are you more like, yo, I didn't really need to watch that again. I knew exactly what happened. I knew exactly what went wrong.
I think just as professionals, when we look back at film, we all know those plays, those moments where maybe if I would have done something different, it'll maybe define the game or that situation. And we'll always go through film. We'll look at the little detail stuff where if we was in this place, or if we ran to this, or if we made this move, or we had this different play to where things will maybe have a different outcome than what it is. So, I mean, you go back and you look at film and it's like, man, if I could have done better, we could have done this, it's just part of that that situation when, you know, you come after a loss and you're looking back and you're like, man, there's still things that we have to work on, and we got to improve that in order to be successful moving forward. So,
You know what makes this? You know what will make this better? When this guy comes back.
That'll help.
That'll definitely help big time. That'll definitely help big time. But
absolutely.
But we gonna be good regardless with the guys. We just have that depth. You know what I'm saying? With Chuck back there, with Gino back there, we have all the tools needed. We know what we need to do. It's just all about executing and making the plays that comes to us. But when this guy get on the field, man, it's gonna help us out even more. So looking forward to having him back.
Appreciate it.
Let's cover a couple of things from this game. This is Tyus Bowser Show, Press Box and 105.7 The Fan. Did Trevor Lawrence say something about your mom? Because I thought you had murdered that man.
Nah.
What'd y'all think of Tyus Bowser's strip sack at Trevor Lawrence on Sunday? That was.
I ain't gonna lie though, that night before, I was really I'm gonna give me a sack.
I said something about it on Twitter. You and I, the last show, before we started, I just said something like that had to feel good, and you said, yeah, but I gotta get a sack.
Yeah.
I have to get a sack.
Yeah, I think it was already 2 games in. I was getting my feet wet and I was trying to figure things out. And I think I was just at that time now where I was like, I need to make a play. Especially looking at that game, I just felt like one play will really define the game. And I thought that if I can make that play and when that situation come up, that it'll happen. I thought it would be me getting a sack or strip sack, interception, whatever it is. I felt like that game I was gonna make a play, and it did.
What does it feel like when you hit someone that hard? Because dude, we could feel that through the TV.
It felt good. It felt good. I mean, especially when it's a quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. You know, when you see somebody, you can just tee off on them and not go to jail for it. I mean. You can't beat that. You can't beat that, honestly.
That one was one that you probably should have gone to jail for, bro.
I probably should have, but hey, man.
Marcus over here got the shivers. That's how it feels. It feels good when you do something like that.
It is, man. It is. I love it. I love it.
I mean, that's cool, man. It was a very cool. Obviously, it would have been better if it,
Yeah.
I understand. I understand you can only enjoy it so much when it goes a certain way, but it was still a really cool moment.
I appreciate it, man.
We got to talk last year after the Detroit game. I want to ask both of you this. When you see Justin Tucker walking out to try a 67-yard field goal, what is going through your mind in that moment? What do you think is about to happen? Just take me through the entire. Marcus, I'll start with you. You weren't part of it last year. You didn't get to see what Tyus got to see in Detroit a year ago. But you know Justin Tucker.
Right.
When you see that, what's going through your mind?
Me personally, I talked to him. I just told him, whenever I see you out here, I think it's going in no matter what. I said, if you were kicking an 80-yard field goal, I think it's going in. So no matter what, I got ultimate faith in him and what he does and what he brings to the table each and every week. He works his butt off. And just to see him go out there and he no matter what he says, he gonna put the team on his back. So I feel like he's gonna go out there, he's gonna make it. It's just like Kobe had that Mamba mentality. That's the same thing I think Tucker has. So he go out there, he knows what's at line on the line, and he goes out there, and I feel like he's gonna make it every time.
It seems insane to be disappointed by the idea of a dude missing a 67-yard field goal. But Tyus, was there any part of you that's dude, I really believed he was going to make that kick?
Actually, I did. I honestly did because, like you said, it's Justin Tucker. You have the utmost confidence and respect for this guy because he goes in and day out, each and every day, hone into his craft, his details, and even in practice, if he misses a field goal or it's off a little bit, he's hard on himself and he knows what he needs to improve on and what he needs to do to make it better. So when I see him walk out there, especially knowing the situation, he knew that time was coming. You could just see the confidence of him walking out there, and that helps you as a player. Yo, I know this dude has it because we've seen him do it before, of course. But when you have a guy like that who does it continually and is very detailed and takes pride in his craft, you have no other choice but to respect that.
When it was off the foot, did you think it was?
It looked good. it looked good from my view.
Reed and I absolutely thought it was good. Reed and I were sitting there like, dude, he got it.
We definitely were in the studio like, I think he'd made it. And then they were like, he just went short. And we were like, oh. Well, we really thought he went through.
But it was tough, though, because the win, I think, did play a big part in that. So part of me was like, man, this is going to be a tough kick. But even so, I feel like he's going to make it. But it did come up short, and I was like, man, at least he tried. All you can do is try. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you're going to miss it. Sometimes you're going to make it, and it was just one of those moments.
Most important question, and we're going to move on from Jacksonville, I promise. Then we're getting back into positive energy, like Marcus said, all right?
Yeah.
How effing distracting was that GD mascot in that American flag thong?
Honestly, I didn't even notice it.
How? How is that possible?
How did y'all not know?
I don't even know. I didn't notice it at all, honestly.
And did anybody bring it up to you afterwards? Have you seen it yet?
Mascot?
I think.
Oh my.
Yes, he was pretty much naked. He just had on a thong
Somebody
on.
said something to me about that. I forgot who it was. Somebody mentioned it. It was like, yo, that mascot was like half naked, only had on some drawers.
Yeah.
Some drawers or something. I didn't see it though. I didn't see it though, so I have to see it.
I'm finding a picture for you right now because it was legitimately. Look at that. Look at that right there.
Oh no, I didn't see that.
That's literally how he was most of the game.
I didn't see that at all.
Do animals actually wear clothes?
By the way, the story is they told the mascot at some point during the game, you have to put something else on.
They said that.
They literally forced the mascot. Now let's be clear, this is a suit that he's wearing with the Speedo over it. That seems a little bit unnecessary, but I'm going with that was too distracting, it was cheating. They should strike the game from the record. Give it to you guys because this is insane. Nobody should be forced to work in these conditions.
I've never even seen it.
Oh man, I was really thinking we were gonna ride with that.
Oh man, I'm sorry, I didn't see that at all. So when you just showed me that, I was like, oh,
way too much. Way too much.
That is a lot going on. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's a lot going on.
All right, would you guys make some more noise for Tyus Bowser, Marcus Williams, please? We are live at Mother's Peninsula Grill in Arnold, a scratch kitchen. 95% of their menu is homemade. They got a huge New Year's Eve party coming up. No cover, a 3-course meal special with live music, a champagne toast. They are accepting reservations right now here at Mother's Peninsula Grill in Arnold. Speaking of positive energy, when we come back in, you got the opportunity to do something this week that was really remarkable and means something very near and dear to me. So I want to talk about a place that you went to visit this week. It's a really special thing. So we're going to do that when we come back in. This is the Tyus Bowser Show.